Hello and welcome to another season of BSL 12 with the GosuLeague here. My name is MasterReY and with me here, as always, the wonderful Snipe. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Glad to be here as always. Looking forward to another exciting season of BSL GosuLeague Season 12. I think we got a lot of great games coming up for you today.
Yes, today we have Group C and E, and yeah, I'm sure we'll have some awesome games as it was the case last season, and we'll take a look at those groups now. Here we go. So this is Group C. Has a Favorit from Sweden, a Protoss player, then a Zerg player Sheep from Canada, another Protoss player in Cruzago from Chile, and then we have the Terran player Handy from Peru. What do you think about the group?
The first name that stands out to me personally is Sheep, just because I know him. I've played plenty of games with him before, and I've heard he's been improving quickly. So I'm really excited to see like him in GosuLeague first of all, but to see how he does in GosuLeague. I know he's been playing a ton. Like I think he has a lot of ladder games, so this is going to be a tough group for him, I think. But yeah, I want to see. I used to be able to beat him. Now I think he'd probably beat me most of the time. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, Favorite also kind of a standout here. We've seen him a number of times throughout these tournaments, and even the pre-tournament tournaments that they host sometimes. You know, those little ladder or ones for players who played at least 20 games, and I think he's done quite well in some of those too. So I would expect maybe he can make it out, or Cruzago. Like this looks like a very interesting group, a very good group, and we got a good balance of races to start things off here.
Yeah, for sure. Little fact now that you mentioned that you know Sheep. I'm not sure if it's the same Sheep, but like 12 years ago, I was in a North American team called NAI, and there was a sheep. Um, maybe that's him. I don't know. But
Yeah, I
anyways,
wouldn't know.
yeah, yeah. That is Group C. We'll take a closer look at the players, but before that, we show you the other group we have today. That is Group E down here. And there we have LancerX as a Protoss from Russia, Deska, Zerg from Mexico, Sneasel, a Polish Protoss, and Cyrex, a Zerg from Slovakia. I think that's it. Yes, Slovakia. Yeah, so two Protoss, two Zerg. What do you think about that?
Looks pretty good. Like should be a good group as well. A couple names stand out once again. Deska we casted a lot last season. I remember he was that Zerg that really liked to go for that those two hatch like lurker drops, I believe.
Yes.
And he seemed to somehow fall behind a lot, but then he would also come back and win the games.
Mhm.
And Lancer X, I mean, he's been around the scene forever, well-known Protoss player. And then we got two newcomers. I don't really know Sneasel or Cyrax much myself. I don't know if you know anything about them, but it'll be interesting to see how they play as well.
Yeah, I have not heard about Sneasel or Cyrex, but at least for Sneasel, I definitely know that there have been a lot of legendary Polish Protoss in the scene. Poland is a very strong nation in StarCraft, and they have brought many good Protoss player out, like Draco, Draven, um, yeah, many others. We'll see. Okay, so that are our two groups here, Group C and E. And now we focus on Group C because we are casting that first, of course. Let's take a closer look at the players here. First of all, we have Favorit. Let's look at their ladder ratings. One second. Okay, there we go. So Favorit here using the account Favoa, yeah, or I guess Fave OOA. I don't know. Pretty strong MMR, I have to say. I, I'm sure that was pretty close to even qualify for S rank. but has played only the very minimum number of games. 25 games was the minimum number of games to play, and that's what he did here. So
Wasn't
not
it
very
30 for
active.
GosuLeague?
No, it was 30 for GosuLeague in the previous seasons, but they changed it to
Oh,
25
okay,
in this
okay.
season, and it looks like Favorit actually immediately took that and played the minimum number of games, like he doesn't want to play more games. But I mean, he has a good rating, so maybe he just didn't want to risk losing some more games and letting his MMR drop. But yeah, he's definitely the favorite of this group, I would say, with that MMR.
Hmm.
Yeah, then as a second player, we have Sheep. Sheep, very different.
Wow,
Played many games, over 400 games for Sheep. Damn,
that's got
that's
to be some of the most on the whole ladder.
yeah, I think so. I don't want to scroll through now, but he's definitely top three of most games played out of all players in the BSL. That's crazy.
Well, I didn't mention he's been practicing a lot, but that's insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then next we have Cruzago. Cruiser, account Cruiser. Yeah, he's also pretty high in the MMR, a bit higher than Sheep, but lower than Favorit, with a medium number of games played, so I don't think we can get too much information out of that. And in the last spot we have Handy from Peru. He's a little bit closer to Sheep there on the lower end of the GosuLeague MMR. Also, only a few games played here, 40 games, not a lot. But yeah, I mean, many people just like to play their BSL games in the BSL ladder phase on their BSL account, and then they switch to another account afterwards after they think their MMR is high enough and they have played the minimum number of games. So yeah, let's see.
Comment in the chat: are the games pre-played? Yeah, all the games are cast from replays.
Yep. Okay, and with that, I would say we can jump into the first game that will be played on Polypoid. So before we actually jump in, let's take a small look at Polypoid. I think Polypoid is probably the most popular map nowadays, but we still
Yeah,
take a small look at it.
seems to have replaced Fighting Spirit as the standard map.
Okay. Yep, there we have it.
I got a couple comments in the chat about no sound.
Okay. Also, names are definitely wrong here. Sorry about that. Let me fix that very quickly. Okay, now we are ready. No sound. There should be sound.
Apparently, it's back. Just while we were sharing the map, maybe just when we weren't talking, there was no sound.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so nobody heard what we said about the map, but Polypoint is very known anyways. So yeah, sorry about that. I forgot to configure the sound for the map scene. Anyways, we have the game now. Let's focus on the game. So cross position here. Favorit playing a normal gateway expansion. That's pretty popular nowadays. And Sheep going for the overpool. I think those are probably the most popular builds for both races here. Or what do you think?
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Now I do know Zergs have been going like something like 11 hatch a little bit more often because it is supposedly a bit better against gate first, and with all the Protosses going gate first, you have seen that a little bit more. Or I've even heard some Zergs like to go like 10 hatch 9 pool or something. Of course, we don't see that here. We do see overpool, which has been stock standard for Zerg against Protoss for quite a while. So I'm sure Sheep will be fine. Looks like the probe is going to get here just in time to potentially delay that drone, but Sheep pulling it behind the minerals just so Favorite cannot block that hatchery, and he will get that down no problem.
Yeah. Yeah, very nice little move here, little detail, hiding the drone before you have the 300 minerals.
Yep. Probe trying to do a bit of harass, doing a decent job, interrupting the mining, see if he can't pick something off. Meanwhile, Sheep will see that Zealot moving out on the map and confirm this is a gate first expand. Just going to scout around, maybe leave his drone there to try and block the Nexus. Looks like that is the plan.
Yeah, but this probe died very quickly here, I have to say. That's quite unusual. And the reaction is that he turns around the Zealot. So without the probe in the Zerg main base, you don't have vision of the X. You don't see what units come out of the X. Maybe Sheep is just going mass Zerglings, and he definitely doesn't want to lose the Zealot against that. And yeah, goes for the safe play and pulls back. But he definitely have to send out another probe here.
Yeah, and it looks like he's doing just that now, sending out that probe. Yeah, losing that first one early definitely hurts. I mean, you really, really got to know what Zerg's doing, because if he was just going for masslings behind this and you weren't ready or didn't know, he could easily run you over. Or vice versa, he could maybe get away with a bunch of greed and just say, hey, I'm not going to make any lings and just make a bunch of drones. And then you make a couple cannons, all of a sudden you're behind. So he is going to send out that probe. Now, will Sheep be able to deny this scouting, or will that probe at least be able to get into the main and check and see everything seems normal so far?
Yeah, looks like Sheep is denying the scouting, so yeah, that's unfortunate for Favorit. At least he confirms the third base here, so he knows that there's no super crazy aggressive play incoming like mass speedlings on two bases. So yeah, but he doesn't have that information on the main base. There could be a Hydrolist den, there could be a lair, and we can see, of course, that it is indeed the lair here.
Yeah, so I was wondering about this. He's actually going to push out with these three zealots here to see if he can't get a scout off. He does manage to actually sneak the probe in anyway, so that's good for him. He will confirm the lair, breathe a little bit sigh of relief. He's like, okay, I know I'm not against three hatch Hydra here, but he's still going to continue to move these zealots across the map. And if Sheep wasn't watching and didn't see these move across, they could catch him off guard. Looks like he does know, though, as he is continuing to produce a bunch more lings to deal with these zealots.
Yeah, but that was a very important scout. He also sees the additional Zerglings coming out of the X here, so he knows that he has to be careful with the Zealots and cannot just run into the natural, otherwise he would get surrounded probably. But here he decided to go into the third base location, and he knows the Lings are coming. Will he do something about that? Will he get behind the minerals? No.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Looks like the Zerglings almost got a good surround on the Zealots. They might actually make it behind the minerals here. One does get picked off, but they are going to trade a lot better behind the minerals in this location. So nice moves from Favorite there. Can't get them surrounded though. Okay, he's going to lose both those Zealots now. Uh, Maybe forced a few Lings, but I think that was still okay for Sheep.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in Favorit's base, we have the Stargate for that additional scouting later on. And meanwhile, he's just macroing producing probes, getting some additional zealots here. Of course, he's completely safe against those speedlings here because he has the wall completely closed and he has a cannon behind that, so there shouldn't be any problems for him getting that Corsair out and getting some additional scout information.
Yeah. So far, everything's looking pretty standard, like you were saying. Zerg side, we do have that Spire about halfway completed. No second gas taken as of yet, so he's not going to really have the option to go for mass mutas if he wanted to. He could still make something like 5 mutalisks to help defend the incoming eventual speed zealot attack, which it looks like Favorite is preparing for, Favorite, as he has +1 on the way, and the Citadel is just finishing up now. So I imagine he'll be starting leg speed there shortly.
Yeah, he starts it immediately here. This will line up very nicely with the +1 he already started earlier. They will finish around the same time, and then we'll see that little zealot pressure. But first of all, picks off an overload here, I think. Looks like that was already pre-damage from maybe flying into the cannon. Not sure, but he got a nice overload kill and now he'll continue to scout. The question is, will the
Oh,
Corsair die to the Scourges that are popping out of the egg right now here?
yeah, we'll have to see. That Corsair just barely missed an Overlord. The Scourge were going out to try and intercept it, but they do miss. Now he is going to scout. He is going to see that 3 eggs are being morphed here in the main. That could maybe be a hint that, okay, some mutas are coming, which we do see. But like we said, because he doesn't have that second gas, he's not going to be able to make a ton of mutas. So we'll probably see something about 5 mutalisks made. That seems to be the magic number here for Zerg. Meanwhile, those Scourge are going to try and catch up and chase down that Corsair, but it looks like he should be able to make it back to his cannon.
Yeah.
And be safe.
Yeah, so 5 Mutalisks. It's not a huge commitment, and it forces the Protoss to get some additional cannons. We see that here in the main base. And then naturally he has the 2 cannons very close to the mineral line anyways, and he opted to go for additional Corsairs. So he is actually going for the +1 Corsair style. That is very reliant on multitasking. But yeah, let's see what Favorit can do with that Corsair fleet once it grows and the +1 finishes.
Yeah, the 5 Mutalisks are good because they can one-shot the probes. But as you mentioned, because he's going to have these Corsairs, they're not going to really find much damage. I think he picked off 1, maybe 2 probes there. Nothing too damaging there for Favorite. And now that speed is done for his Zealots and +1, it looks like it's time for him to move out. He's going to need the Corsairs if he's going to want to push into the Muta zone. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, but so far he still doesn't have enough Corsairs to really fight Scourges. The magic number you want to have is at least 5 and a +1 upgrade. Then you can actually kill Scourges before they crash into your Corsairs. He now has 5, the +1 is also finished now, so now he could go out, but in my opinion it's always very risky to go out with 5, because if you do one little misstep with your Corsairs, they will die anyways, so I always go for 6. But okay, he's moving out here, let's see what he can do.
Yeah, no real sunkens for Sheep, so he's going to rely heavily on his SimCity plus Hydras to defend this attack. This is quite a lot of Zealots, so I hope he's going to be ready. It looks like he has a decent number of Hydras. We'll have to see where the engage goes or where Favorite wants to attack. He is going to go for that 3rd base. Now, can he get on top of some of these Hydras?
Yeah, no sunken really makes me worried here for Sheep. And also, a lot of lava were not used. We see 3 eggs on almost every hatchery here, so he was slacking a bit there on the macro. And now he's taking some damage that maybe could have been prevented if he played a little bit safer. But in the end, he will hold this attack, but that was a little bit of damage at least.
Yeah, did force that drone pull, killed a few units, but he seems okay for now. I wonder if he was holding Larva base to see if is the attack coming, because Favorite was kind of moving back and forth a little bit. Didn't look like he was necessarily looking to commit with this attack, and if he didn't commit with the attack, Sheep knows he could probably get away with an extra round of droning and really start to pull ahead in economy. So I'm wondering if
Yeah,
that was part of it or if it was just a mistake.
yeah, of
But
course,
here we go.
that
Yeah.
could be. Of course, once you have the 3 lava, you will not get an additional lava, so when you have 3 already, you have to at least use 1 to make it worse, in
Yeah.
my opinion. But yeah. Now let's see what the Hydralisk can do. Favorit added a lot of cannons, and the Storm seems to be ready. Yes, very nice Storm here. So Favorit will not take any damage here against these Hydras. Sheep trying to damage the gateway, but that is surely not going down against that many High Templars.
Yeah. Either that or even baiting a couple storms can be nice. It'll just be a couple less storms for favorite when he decides he wants to move out. Looks like he is playing that kind of newer version where you get +1 armor after +1 weapons, which just finished up now. This will give his zealots a lot more survivability against the Hydralisks. Um, Now, does he want to go for a poke? Is he just going to sit back here and mass up a bunch of Dragoons and get +2 and then go? You see, nice little pick off on the Templar there from Sheep as well.
Yeah. Ah, and Favorit just going for the... He has 7 gates here right now, probably waiting for his observer to move out because he is not sure if there might be lurkers.
And he's going to scout a little bit out with those Corsairs, start to move out with his units. He's going to be fighting up the hill, but he does have a lot of storms. Some of his Dragoons are lagging behind, however. He needs to get those out into this fight.
Yeah, also he lost already like 5 zealots before the first storm was even there, before the first High Templar arrived, so that was not the best initial move out, but here now the units are gathered, now he can cast the storms as soon as the zealots engage the army, and he looks like he comes out ahead here, but it's not... It's barely. He barely wins this fight, but overall it looks like Sheep actually invested a lot of units into holding that position, but now he didn't. So he has no fourth base going up, and he has no base of like lurkers defending his expansions or so. Those units that he has on the map here, the Hydras, that's everything he has.
Yeah, there's not a lot of Templars here for favorite. He's only got the one at the moment, and not a lot of Zealots either. This is primarily a Dragoon army. But I am a little bit worried here for Sheep, like you're saying. He doesn't have a fourth base up yet. He doesn't really have lurkers. So a round of reinforcing Zealots and a couple of Templars, and he may be able to just run over Sheep. Like lurkers are very strong, especially if they can get like these high ground positions. Makes it really hard for Protoss to push in there. But we'll have to see how this engage go. Looks like favorite is ready to try and pull the trigger here. Is this going to be enough?
Yeah, I'm not sure. With only one storm, I think Favorit can actually not commit here. He has so many units, but it's risky. I mean, maybe he will win the fight if he just attacks now and wins the game. But then again, if he doesn't, then that's just throwing away a big army because you only have one storm. But okay, he's fighting now. Sheep came out of his high ground. And yeah, you can see Favorit definitely has a very good army here.
Yeah, and that was a good place for him to take a fight. I mean, he's not taking it against high ground Zerg. He had a pretty decent spread on his units there. Looks like Sheep will be able to defend it for now. There are some more reinforcements coming in here for favorite, though. We do have one Templar still only. Doesn't quite have a storm. It will soon. Meanwhile, we do have some more Zealots and Dragoons streaming across the map. Looks like he's going to want to try and attack up here at the newly taken fourth base of Sheep.
Yeah. Against the high ground, he can definitely not attack in here. He has so many goons. So many goons will not win a fight against high ground. Except you have the perfect storms, of course. And now Sheep actually going down from his high ground. So this will definitely give Favorit the opportunity to win this fight here. But okay, Favorit is playing it safe and goes back.
Yeah, I thought he might be able to push in there too, but it looks like he is, like you said, going to just play it safe, doesn't want to overextend or overcommit here. Now, there's not a lot of Hydras left. Where is his army? Okay, he's bringing in some more Hydras, but there's more reinforcements coming in for favorite, and he will get up onto the high ground this time. And both players fighting from the high ground here. It looks like favorite has enough. Favorite has enough to probably just overrun Zerg or at least kill this base off.
Yeah, I have to criticize the decision for Sheep to go down from his high ground. I think Sheep has a smaller army here, and maybe he could have win the fight with a high ground advantage, but then he just went down, and now he lost the fight, and now he lost his fourth base with that, and now it's super hard for him to come back, and yeah, he thinks the same, and he even thinks it's impossible, and GG's out here.
All right. So Favorite does take game number 1. He does go into the winner's match. Sheep is not eliminated yet. He will be dropping down into the loser's match, where he still has a second chance to move on to that final match and move on out of the group.
Yes. We have the double elimination format here. And yeah, to find out who the opponents of these two players are in the winners and losers match, we will now watch the game between Cruiser and Handy. That will be a PvT, and the map is again Polypoid. By the way, thanks for Drogorif for gifting a sub here. Thank you. Okay, Cruiser versus Handy is starting. Both players from South America, Chile against Peru, so at least latency or lag will not be a factor in this game, probably.
Hopefully. We can do shift tab here. Might not be a bad idea with these colors.
Yes. And we're almost ready to jump in. Okay, game is ready. Let's go. Wow, I just realized we have... I completely forgot the player introduction in the first game. Okay, so in the bottom right we have our blue Protoss player. It is Cruiser.
All right, and repping the PE for Peru, we have our red Terran player, Handy. So, yeah, I mean, South Americans, I don't want to generalize too much, but tend to play sometimes a little bit more aggressive styles. At least from my experience, right? I've seen them do a little bit more, aggressive things like something like 2 gates or whatever. I don't know if that's what we'll see here. I don't know too much about these players, if they play standard, if they like aggressive plays. We'll have to see. So far, nothing too out of the ordinary coming out from either player. We just have the gateway going down in the main for Protoss, and it looks like Handy is probably planning to do some kind of a wall off here with a couple supply depots and a barracks, just to make sure he doesn't take any damage from any kind of proxy gates or forward gate or early zealot pressure of any kind.
Yeah, and I definitely have to agree. Whenever I play South Americans in the ladder, I just play, for example, PvP. I play 2 gate by default, just because they're always
2 gates
rushing.
coming against you.
It's really a very high, like 95% of the South Americans are doing some very early aggression. At least Zergs and Protoss. I'm not sure about Terrans. They are not very. I'm not playing many South American Terrans on ladder.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, if he gets this wall off out before scouting, something like 2 factory does become an option, or fac starport. We'll have to keep an eye on that gas, see if he pulls a couple SCVs off after he starts that first factory or not. That can definitely be a big tell, and he will be able to deny the scouting here with this wall. So the option is definitely there. And okay, first factory goes down. Looks like he is going to pull those SCVs. So probably just going to be a factory expansion build coming out from Handy here.
Yeah.
Whereas Protoss side, nothing too unusual. Terran sees everything. He sees, okay, range has been started. You probably have a Dragoon on the way. I'm going to get out of here maybe before that Dragoon comes out. But nothing too cheesy coming out from either player here.
Yeah, very normal so far. This probe, oh, has to be careful. One more hit, it would be dead. But okay, retreats here. Marine is coming. Both players saving the scouting worker. Of course, the Terran, as Terrans usually do, he's hiding the SCVs to come back a little bit later to scout the natural and maybe confirm a nexus, a fast nexus, or of course, if possible, even get into a main.
Yeah, always kind of feels bad from the Protoss side if you let that SCV into the main. Just gives them full scouting info. And they know exactly what they're up against, like how many gates you have, if you're going for some kind of fast tech or anything. Basically, any plan you might have had has kind of been thwarted. Meanwhile, we do have that Nexus coming down, so this looked like it was a Nexus on 24 from Cruza. Um, Basically, looked like 23 Nexus kind of build, except he got that pylon first, so he's not going to really be supply blocked at all. Meanwhile, we do have that command center started up here on the high ground for Handy. This is something you don't see as often anymore, I want to say. Like a lot of the times when Terrans go for that fact expand, they'll just build the bunker on the low ground and then build their command center on the low ground as well. This way, obviously, is a little bit safer. He's got the wall, so he's probably thinking the same way or feeling the same way we were just discussing earlier. Like, I don't want to die to any kind of early aggression. I'm just gonna play it safe, build this wall, build my high command center on the high ground, and float it down. Once I have enough units to comfortably push out and take my natural.
Yeah. He only has one Marine. That's definitely worth to mention. Usually Terrans want to get the bunker up, and they have 4 Marines. With 4 Marines and 1 tank, you can definitely push back 2 goons. With 1 Marine and 1 tank, it definitely gets a little bit more difficult. But now he has a second tank, and I think now we'll see him probably moving down the ramp.
Yeah. One thing I will say about building the command center on the high ground is he can get away without building a bunker here. We'll have to see if he wants to build one or not. With only 1 Marine, he may not just build the bunker. And he does have siege mode done, so he's going to be able to push those Dragoons back. They're not really going to be able to get in and do any damage here. So he's perfectly safe. Meanwhile, on Protoss side, we do have a shuttle started. I don't see any like robotics facility or anything just yet. The observatory is finishing up at the natural. So this is probably going to be what, shuttle, observer, reaver, I would have to guess.
Yeah, maybe he could start 2 zealots right now and go for a little bulldog attack here. Okay, that's what he's doing. Yeah, I have to see. The robotic support bay. Okay, now it comes in the natural. So already getting the 2 zealots to load into the shuttle together with the reaver that is coming afterwards. But we have to mention that he has no observer out, right? So he built an observatory. Okay, now he's getting it. Okay, I just see it. Yeah, so he will have a very early shuttle and can harass, but he will of course wait for the Reaver here.
Yeah, don't mind this. He's going to be able to get that observer too to scout to see, make sure he doesn't land that reaver on any mines or anything like that. If Terran happened to go for mines, which he has not yet. Okay, starting vulture speed now, but mines will be a little ways off. Looks like Handy is going for a pretty quick third base here. Now, this can be a little bit riskier on Polypoid off of just 2 factories, because you're not really going to have a ton of units to protect your whole area. If Protoss was going for some kind of a early bulldog or bust, like you said, he might or suggested he might try for. But as we can see, he is going for that reaver, so he'll probably be able to at least defend this third or not die to any kind of early attack here from Protoss.
Yeah, he's also getting the shuttle speed, so that could be very dangerous for the Terran. Yeah, especially when he has all the units so far in the front on the third base location. That means his way to his main base is even longer. When the Reaver comes in with the speed shuttle, he needs a long time to move his units from the third base to the main. So that Reaver could do a lot of damage. Let's see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. He's moving across with all his goons as well. There's a vulture out on the map. If he ran towards the natural main, he might have been able to get in and get some probe kills there. But the shuttle speed is just about to finish up here. Okay, just finished now. Perfect timing for him to fly into the main and see if he can get any damage done somewhere.
Yeah, and there's no defense at all. All the units are very far away. There's just nothing. No turrets, no units. So this... Oh my god, what a shot.
I can't believe that connected.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is doing so much damage. Also delaying here the factories here by killing at least that one SCV building that factory. This already paid for itself big time.
Yeah, very nice. Looks like he tried to go for some kind of a push or attack at the third base at the same time, but Handy was ready for that with a couple of tanks. Still trying to get some damage done here with the Reaver. Takes a couple shots from the tanks. He's going to have to be careful. It's only a couple hits there from being dead. But he manages to take out most of these tanks, so very nice control here with the Zealot and the
Oh,
Reaver, taking
wow.
out 4 tanks. This is like a ton of good damage. He's killed so many SCVs. He's killed 4 tanks already. Like, this drop is definitely more than paid for itself here for Cruza. So I definitely got to say he's got a little bit of an advantage or a little bit of lead from that.
Yeah, I think it's not only a little lead here, I think it's a very big lead. Killing so many units,
Yeah,
SCVs and tanks, that's crazy. And yeah, I mean that's because Handy was completely unprepared here. No shuttles, no turrets against the shuttle, and also no units in the
more
main.
SCVs going down.
Uh,
Oh,
just- oh,
yeah,
he
he
can
just
drop on the tank here if he's quick before the turret is done. He can drop on the tank. Oh, he's not.
Meanwhile, there
Oh
are a lot of
no.
probes going down on the other side of the map, though. Oh, he did not get the tank, but Handy was attacking the third base with a bunch of vultures, and he killed pretty much every single probe there. So enough counter damage done, maybe. I mean, we can see the worker count has evened up a bit. That's the kind of move he needed to do to not fall too far behind if he wants to stay in this game. Like, had he not done that, had Cruza still had all those probes, he would be in a very commanding position right now. Because he got that, I think that kind of evened it out a little bit. I still want to say Cruza's got the advantage here, but not as big as it was after the Reaver damage.
Yeah, killing those probes is definitely nice. What I'm worried about for Handy is that the Reaver not only killed those workers but also the tanks. So
Yeah,
the tank count was also reduced, and we can see the supply is in Cruiser's favor, which is normal. But Cruiser already has 4 bases up as well. So you see this supply difference usually if the Protoss goes for an early third base and then goes into gateways and so on. But he has this supply advantage with only 3 gateways and 4 bases. He actually went 4th base on 3 gateways here, and that's kind of a big deal in my opinion because now he can just
yeah.
completely explode with the gateways.
Yeah, well, let's see where he wants to go from here. Looks like the choice is going to be Arbiter Tech coming up as he started his Stargate and Templar archives at both the same time here. He is adding on a couple, excuse me, a couple more gateways now. We got Handy running around the map, just planting some mines, trying to get some map vision, and be aware of any Protoss movements or if Protoss tries to come across the map to maybe get some rest. And it looks like Handy actually sees this as an opportunity to push for himself. I don't know if this is going to work though.
There is no Zealot speed yet, so maybe. Oh, where's the siege? Okay, oh, no, no zealots, also no shuttle here. So this is the best fight our Terran can have. Mass tanks against pure goons, and Cruiser goes back.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good initial engagement there for Handy. He is running all his vultures, which can be a little bit concerning, leaving the tanks exposed. But he is going to get those vultures into the main. He's going to get like a ton of probe kills. Dragoons are trying to fight some of these tanks, but he is losing a lot of those Dragoons as well. Probes just destroying the main here of Cruza at the moment. All the tanks did go down, but he's lost so many probes here in the process. So I was questioning that attack, but I think it worked out very well here for Handy.
Yeah, 100%. And leaving the tanks undefended, so leaving the tanks with the vultures and leaving them by itself. Usually you don't want to do that as Terran, but if you know that the Protoss has literally goons only, not a single zealot, that's perfectly fine, I think. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not still not the ideal scenario, but mass tanks against mass goons only is still okay, and he got so many probes with that. Definitely a very nice attack for Handy.
yeah, we can see he even has the worker lead. Now we got some more vultures coming in here. There's a few DTs. Looks like he's going to be able to block most of it. No. Okay, a few vultures still get in, so he's going to lose even more probes here. This is like pretty critical damage. Like, did Handy turn this game around? Does he have the advantage now, would you say?
It definitely looks like that, yeah. He has a big worker lead, and he's now prepared to take his 4th. If he can secure this 4th without Cruiser somehow denying it, I don't see how. I think Handy's in a very good position here.
Yeah. Like, I was impressed with that play. I was questioning it, but I can't question it no more. That was very good. Looks like he's going to continue to use these vultures, see if he can't pick up some more units, lay off some mines. He is going to get a surround on these dragoons with these mines. So how many will he kill? All of them. Wow, four more goons down for a few vultures. So more good trades here for Handy. We could see in the supply count, like supplies have almost evened up here, and Handy's even a little bit ahead in the worker count as well. So very nice play coming out from him.
Yeah. The only thing that is a little bit behind for our Terran player compared to a normal game is the upgrade. He's still 0-0 here.
Mm.
First upgrade just halfway done. If we look at Cruiser's side, he's also 0-0 with the first upgrade maybe 2/3 done, and he also only has one forge, if I see correctly. Yeah, so okay, so I guess in comparison of these two players, it's fine, but both players are on unusually low upgrades here for this state of the game.
Well, that's interesting. I just got a message that you exited BattleNet. Hopefully that doesn't mess with the replay or anything. But yeah, just saying now we are getting a counter attack here at the 12 o'clock. So this is nice for Cruza. He is going to deny that fourth base, at least for now. He's not going to be able to kill the command center, I think, but at least slowing down the fourth base attempt here from Handy, not letting him saturate that and get that going. No real reaction from him coming just yet. He's got a bunch of units sitting in his third. Okay, looks like he is going to start to move them somewhere towards Protoss base, so maybe the reaction is I'm going to go for an attack knowing that a bunch of your units are here on my side of the map.
Yeah, I definitely like not trying to fight through this little ramp up the high ground. So I think this is a good decision. He's laying mines on the retreat path of the Protoss army. There's no observer here. All the zealots are going down. Almost.
Yeah, very nice positioning on those mines. We do have a bit of an engage here, but this is not necessarily the fight Cruza wants to take with only half of his army here. Okay, the other half is going to come in for the flank. Will this be enough to clean this up? Oh, DT gets in on top of the tanks. Hero DT saves the day. He's going to clean up all of these tanks for him.
Gets it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means again Terran loses the army. The supply is still in a good position for the Terran if you take a normal game as a comparison, but he's losing the tanks every time. So his supply is a lot more vulture heavy compared to a normal game where the Terran has built up his tank count for 10 minutes. So I'm not sure, but yeah, hold that thought. There's a drop going on here on the fourth base of Cruiser, tank and vultures. Can he get some nice shots in? Only one kill in this one. Two more here.
He did pick off a few probes and force a pull. Now, this is one of those situations where the pylon wall can kind of work against you a little bit. Of course, Zealots can still get through, but it will not let any of Cruz's own Dragoons up here to save the day. He does clean that up, loses, the cannon and a few probes, so a little bit of damage done. Nice moves there. And the dropship gets out as well, so he'll be able to have that to use some future drops here if he wants to. Looks like vultures are going to go and scout this new base. There's no probes there quite yet for him to be able to kill. Bit unfortunate there for him, although the probes are coming now, so maybe if he went down there, he could catch them.
Yeah, but yeah, he's not going to, and there are many units on the high ground already, so the probes are now safe. And yeah, it looks like after some crazy harass and some fights in the middle, we are heading into a pretty normal late game. We have 5 bases for the Protoss, we have 4 bases for the Terran. That looks pretty normal. Just the supply, I would say, should be a little bit higher for the Protoss.
Yeah, and upgrade-wise, like you were mentioning earlier, Terran hasn't started any second upgrade. He only on +1 end. Protoss, interestingly enough, went for armor first. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know the math on how much hits the armor reduces from Terran units. But we have a nice fight here, nice stasis on 3 tanks, and nice flank with the Zealots here as well. I don't like Handy going into the middle of the map with such small armies. We can see he has still like 5, 6, 7 tanks now in his natural that he did not use in this fight. So he's always moving out with these small armies and getting them killed. So he will never reach a high tank count like this, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was the efficient trade Protoss really needed because the supplies were so close before, but that really helped. Now, I don't know about this attack coming from Protoss either, trying to push up the ramp here with a bunch of vultures and mines. There are no tanks up here, which is makes it a little bit easier, but with all the mines he laid, I don't know. Okay, it looks like he will eventually break up here with a few Dragoons, but now his Dragoons are probably going to get trapped up here by these tanks.
Yeah. So can he kill some SCVs maybe? Doesn't look like that's the case. Killing off some depots, some turrets here. Maybe 1 or 2 SCVs, but overall the main thing he's killed is those 10 vultures or what it was.
All right, well, does save his base, push Cruza out of there, and evens the supplies back out in the process. Now those tanks did get unstasis in the middle of the map, so Cruza's just going to come back, clean those up. And yeah, going back to what you said about the small armies, we had like a Terran do that last season, I remember, who kept, I don't remember who the Terran was at the moment, but he kept moving out with these small armies, right? And he kept getting overrun and pushed out. Like the power of the Terran army just grows more and more exponentially the more units you have, right? Like, for example, 2 tanks are more than twice as good as 1 tank, right? Or 3 tanks are more than 3 times as good as 1 tank, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just the more units you have, the stronger the Terran army is. Working together because they're ranged units. So these small attacks often confuse me. And we've seen some of these Terrans get punished for it, like Protoss just engulfing and trading so well against smaller move outs. But hold that thought, we do have Protoss trying to push in at the 5th base here of Terran. There's no real defense here. I mean, there's a few vultures, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Dropship flying in with a couple of tanks, so those tanks may be able to save the day here.
Oh, nice mind drag here. All the vultures are dead. And this Protoss army is coming. 2 tanks will not cut this. The base is just going down. No reaction almost. Okay, Handy tried to react, but all the tanks get stuck on the mineral only base. And now it's too late. The base is down already.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate for him. We even had a stasis go down on that dropship and those 2 tanks. Command center's down, so what's the reaction? Handy thinks this is the time to push. This is the time to go. He did actually add a second armory, but he's still not upgrading from either of them. So he's still on 1-0, 21 minutes into the game. I definitely have to criticize him for that.
And not a single vulture here.
Yeah, how will
this
this fight
will
go?
definitely not go well here without any vultures. Tanks are clumped, only a few of them are sieged. This is not the fight you want to take as a Terran.
Yeah, Zealots getting on top of the tanks. This is just a slaughter cleanup here for Protoss. That felt like almost a complete donation to Cruza from Handy there, donating all those tanks for him and a few Goliaths. Like, now I feel like Cruz is starting to get into a bit stronger, more of a commanding position. He's still only on the 5 bases himself against the 4 base Terran, so Terran does have that kind of going for him. But he's continuing to lose these armies, which is allowing Cruza to build up a supply lead. But then he goes and does these attacks, right? And sometimes they don't get enough done, right? And cleans it up, and then the supplies start to even out again.
Yeah, it's it's very interesting. Cruiser donating some units back. We are getting to a point where we see some bases getting mined out. The main base of Cruiser and the natural. Okay, natural only mining with like 4 probes will take a little bit longer. But if we only count real bases, big bases, we have only 2 for Cruiser. And we have only... Yeah, still only 2 for Handy, soon to be 1. So if these 2 players keep wasting armies back and forth and nobody taking another base, we'll have a situation where the game is decided by who mines out first.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we do have a couple more bases coming top right there for Protoss. So if he can establish those, get those mining, he'll be in a very good spot. Army-wise, we can see he's well ahead here. Over Handy, he's just checking that 9 o'clock base, making sure that Terran did not take it, which he didn't. And Terran is mined out of his main, his mineral only. Natural's getting pretty low there, so Terran needs to kind of kill a base or take a base for himself if he wants to stay in this game for too much longer.
Yeah, this top right will definitely be probably the deciding point of the game here. And Handy is this time getting into a very nice position. Tanks are sieged up, some are on the high ground, all of them are sieged up now. There are mines in front of them, vultures are with the tanks, so this is a way better fight for Handy. But is it enough? Does he have the units? It doesn't look like it. Nice storms
Couple
here
of
by
storms.
Cruiser.
Yeah, very nice indeed, taking out 3 tanks. And the full army gets cleaned up, and every one of these cleanups is just getting Cruz a little bit further ahead, especially now that he's going to get that Nexus up. He's going to be able to start transferring probes over there and begin mining from it. And Handy lost his whole army once again, so I don't know how he's going to be able to really secure any part of this map or secure another base for himself without a decent-sized army to help defend.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty much the last army that Handy could gather. He has a total of 5 tanks now. No Goliaths almost, no Vultures, only a few Goliaths. And yeah, we can see Cruiser is already remaxed and he has that new fresh base now for himself to mine from. So Cruiser is well ahead here, and the good thing is for him, he doesn't even have to do something. He just have to basically wait. The ball is really in Handy's hands here. He has to act. He has to do something, and he's trying. He's trying to secure another base here, and even if that gets up, I think Cruiser is still fine because he could just take another base as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. The supply is just so low for Handy. He really has to do a lot to get back into this game, I think.
Yeah, Cruza is aware of this base too. Looks like he's moving his army to see about maybe going for an attack there. I wouldn't necessarily recommend trying to run up the ramp if he wants to attack it, but he could maybe go for a recall on top of that army or something. That could be an effective way to take out this base. And if he could deny that base, that would be pretty much game over for Handy. That said, now, if Handy is able to keep this base, get it running and going, he is going to be mining from 3 bases for a little bit and could get another maxed army out and maybe challenge the Protoss. But we'll see. Looks like we're getting poised here for an attack from Cruza. Where is he going to want to go? Where does he want to attack? Looks like the choice is to attack up towards the high ground mineral only. Maybe not the most ideal place to attack. I mean, that barracks is going to soak up a lot of hit, but that's a very nice stasis on all the tanks. So there's going to be no tank splash damage, and he's just going to run over this army. And what can Handy do here?
I think there's just nothing left for Handy. All his tanks were clumped up against the stasis, and there are even more storms. Almost no more units to storm, only individual tanks here, but yeah, this should be it. There's no way that Handy can defend this. He has some units in this newly taken base on 9 o'clock, but he obviously cannot get those back to defend his main base. So he will now basically lose control of his factories.
Yeah, Natural will go down, which surprisingly still has some resources there at it. Almost 30 minutes into the game, there's still money to be mined there. But yeah, we'll clean it up. It looks like he's going to try hard to defend, obviously not wanting to lose this game and wanting to go into the winner's match. Very volatile, best of 1 format here. But Cruz is not even going to worry about the main. He's going to try and push in here at the 12 o'clock position. Only 1 tank, that's not going to be too much of a threat, and some mines, so he's going to be able to get up here and probably kill this bases too. Maybe even storm those SCVs. Okay, not enough energy on that Templar, but he's going to force the lift off there. Probably going to be able to kill the command center. If not, he's going to kill a lot of SCVs and deny this base. Oh, what a mine hit. 4 Dragoons and 1 Templar with that 1 mine. But I still don't think it's enough.
More mine hits here. And he even fighting with SCVs now with his last army, 4 tanks and a lot of vultures. He's below 90 supply and Cruiser still maxed here.
Yeah, it's been a pretty crazy game, I gotta say. Like, it was kind of back and forth. I mean, we had that very good opening from Cruiser, and it looked like Handy really fought back and took the game to Cruiser there for a little bit. But in the end, I think Cruiser's going to take this down. He did kill that command center, and he was trying to float it back to take this base, but those Dragoons pick it off. Now, we do have this army. Now, if he can kill a couple of bases, these two top bases, maybe, but look at the supply difference here. We're 100 supply ahead for Protoss, so
yeah,
I don't think this is going to work. This is basically his last-ditch, all-in kind of attack. He lives or dies by this final attack here. And once this gets cleaned up, I'm sure we will see him tap out of the game.
This is literally the best position that the Terran can fight in. All the goons bunched up on the low ground against mass tanks on the high ground, but yeah, the supply is just not enough for Andy. Even with the best position for this fight possible, he just gets crushed here.
Yep, a few more tanks coming up from the back, but it doesn't even matter. We have huge bank here for Cruza. He's got plenty of units on top of most of the army here for Handy. He's got reinforcements coming up now as well. He could even start taking the bottom left if he wanted to. He is going to clean up those tanks and the remaining of army. And there is the game. Handy leaves. And Cruza takes a very exciting, pretty good PVT there.
Yeah, I really liked his play. He had this river drop in the very beginning that got him very far ahead. But then he lost some probes here and there, so yeah, maybe needs a little bit more work on that. But overall, I think he played a very good game here and advances to the winners final, of course.
So that means we will have a PvP in the winners final and a TVZ in the losers match.
Yep. Take a little while longer here because I have to restart my StarCraft for some reason. Sadly got disconnected.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I saw you exited BNet in that game. I was like, oh, I hope the replay doesn't bug or crash from that or something. But
Yeah, not sure. So it will be Favorit versus Cruiser in a PvP here. And let's see what the map is. Okay, map will be Power Bond. Okay, Power Bond is very interesting. We have not seen that all too often. New map introduced in this BSL season. Not a completely new map. It was played like 1 or 2 years ago, but it's new for BSL here. What do you think about this map? I will get it up on screen.
I think it might have been in BSL like season 7 or something too, actually. But yeah, it's an interesting map, a 3-player map. How do I feel? But I've played some PvPs here. I actually played against a guy who did like a proxy 2-gate in my natural here and was able to place it in such a way that when you send the probe out, you don't actually see it building. So that could always be some kind of an option we would see here in PvP if players are aware of that. Otherwise, I think it can play pretty standardly. I mean, 3 base, the rush distances aren't terribly close or terribly far. You can go into a fairly normal PvP on this map. No worries about reverse ramps or anything. And it looks like the map you have on screen is Blindside, but it says Power Bond.
Now it's Power Bond. All good.
There we go. Okay.
Sorry about
there
that.
we go. So yeah, there we go. Space tile set, of course. Of course, these matchup statistics won't really play into this map as it is a mirror matchup, but
yeah. Okay. So let's see how this game is turning out. We are in the winners match, remember? So the winner of this next match will advance to the round of 16, and we are jumping into the game right now. With the wrong names, sorry. Now we have the correct names. Okay. Yeah, in the top right here, we have our Chalenian Protoss winning his game against Handy. It is Cruiser.
All right, and in the 6 o'clock position are a Swedish Protoss In the magenta, it is Favorite. All right, so PvP on Power Bond. Any particular builds you like to go for here?
I don't think this map favors specific builds, but I have to mention that we have this rotational symmetry on this map. So in this case, if we look at Favorit space, his natural will be on the right side towards Cruiser, while Cruiser's natural will be away from Favorit. So this could really play a role if we go into some Reaver drops. So for example, Cruiser, he will be able to drop the natural of Favorit and then safely fly back to his main base to maybe defend a counterattack or so. Favorit has to fly a very long way through the middle of the map to reach Cruiser's natural. So that's a bit more dangerous. Maybe that will play a role here.
Yeah, good point. We'll have to see a little bit of advantage for the drop game, maybe for Cruza here. But we already have a deviation in builds. Favorite is going for a 2-gate Zealot build here, whereas we have 1-gate Gas for Cruza. Now, we'll have to see when this is scouted by Cruza. If he scouts this really quickly, he can definitely have a good reaction. Should be able to prepare for it. But if he scouts the wrong direction, maybe he takes a little bit more damage. He'll have less time to react. And it looks like both players are going to scout the wrong direction, so they're not going to scout their opponent first. Where's that probo going? Okay, I think he's headed to the right direction. Maybe not exactly sure on the map. Looked like he was going towards that mineral only or something, but he is going to now go in the correct direction.
Yeah.
Um, and to scout that base, which of course we know neither player is at. So
Yeah, and that could really do some damage now. We have the second and third Zealot in production, and this probe of Cruiser is still scouting this empty position. Turns around now. I think he will barely arrive when the 3 Zealots are leaving the base.
yeah, even if he didn't, he would get in and see the 2 gates and know what was coming his way.
Yeah.
He is going to try and deny the scouting of the probe from Favorite by putting another probe here on the ramp himself. He's going to have his Dragoon out, so we'll have to see. It's going to come down to some micro here. Like, will he be able to out micro and hold off these Zealots or not? And actually, Favorite isn't even going to commit, it looks like. He put 1 Zealot on the ramp, and he's going to send 2 more out. So he's going to try and deny this probe scout rather than pressuring.
Yeah, I think he wanted to try to catch the probe, but now, yeah, very interesting part is that he actually chases the probe with 1 Zealot. So
Yeah.
I don't think that he hopes that he can accomplish a lot here. Maybe he just wants to get some additional scouting. Just check the unit count. That can give you a lot of information as well.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think he's going to get too much damage done, although got to be careful with that Dragoon. You don't want to be taking any actual damage on it. He does hit 1 hit there. So maybe a little bit of missed micro coming out from Cruza, but he will be able to push those Zealots away and chase them back now with 2 Dragoons and a Zealot of his own out. So got to be careful. You don't really want to lose those Zealots for free as Favorite as either. But he does have his own Cyber Core and his first 2 Dragoons in production. Meanwhile, it looks like Cruz is actually going to go straight up into 3 gateways. So he's like, okay, I defended this. I'm going to come at you with a bunch of Dragoons and try and run you over. And maybe it works.
Yeah, he's even skipping the robotics. So this build obviously is very risky to do because you straight up die to DTs. But he did scout the 2 gate, so he knows that DTs are probably not coming. So yeah, this build can do a lot, and yeah, we indeed see that there is no DT coming. So yeah, it can definitely do a lot. Also, Favorit, he's still not getting robotics. I'm not sure where his gas went if he pulled out some probes, but it looks like he has very low amount of gas here. So his robotics for an eventual Reaver, for example, is still very far away. So he will be on 2 gate versus 3 gate for a long time without anything else coming for him. He is just going for an expansion now. That can be very risky.
Yeah, I feel like this is pretty risky, and especially he's moving out with these units, right? Like Cruza's sitting here in a defensive position, but moving out with these units, if Cruza gets out on the map here, favorite could just lose a few units for free, and that's not good. Like, I feel like this is probably going to be a fairly quick game. I don't know if favorite's going to be able to defend, right? Like, he's going to take a very poor fight here, it looks
Yeah.
like. Cruza's going to just I think this is pretty much game, right? He's just going to be able
Yeah.
to overrun favorite, right? Like, how is favorite going to defend? He's going to have to take the high ground on his ramp. He's still not even getting a robo. He's getting 4 gates.
Yeah.
But
That's too
that's not going to
late.
be enough at this point. Even if he does, yeah. I mean, even if he does somehow hold his ramp, Cruza is in the driver's seat, right? He's going to be able to take his natural. It looks like he's getting a forge for a potential DT, but even still, he's going to be in a commanding position with a contain, even if he doesn't outright kill favorite here.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's not only that Favorit had a very low unit count. He also almost didn't react. He just stood there and lost all his units except 2 dragoons. And now Cruiser has such a big unit advantage that he can even fight up a small ramp versus dragoons. Nah, I'm not sure. He will
I
probably.
don't know about this. Yeah,
It's
this
close. It's
can be
close. I
dangerous.
think he still wins this.
Yeah, I would have liked to see maybe a quicker probe pull. If he could have got a probe drill on that ramp when he was really pushing up, this could have definitely turned the tide favorite's favor here. But now the Dragoons get up the ramp, so 1 Dragoon against 3. He is going to get some Zealots actually coming out of these gateways to help fight. But there's more reinforcements coming in for Cruza as well. He can just micro down these Zealots if he's got the room to do so anyway. And yeah, I don't know if Favorite can hold this with just Zealots. I don't think so.
No, this game is over. Cruiser can out-micro slow Zealots easily, and with that, Favorit has nothing left here.
Yeah, he did get a Citadel, so maybe he was planning on going for some DT or Speed Zealot follow-up, but it's not going to matter. We're not going to get to find out because there's just so many Dragoons in here. He's going to trade effectively, and more Dragoons are going to just keep streaming in from Cruza until eventually Favorite does tap out here, realizing he cannot defend this.
Yeah, and that means we have Cruiser advancing to the round of 16 here in this Group C of the BSL GosuLeague. So congrats to him.
Yeah, first player into the round of 16 GosuLeague this season. BSL 12, Cruza. Now we need to find out the first player eliminated from GosuLeague. Will it be Sheep or will it be... What's the Terran's name? Sorry, I'm drawing a mind blank right now.
Handy.
Yes, Handy. All right. One of them will be eliminated. The other one will, of course, go on into the final match. Do play against Favorite to see who the second player advances will.
Yeah. And from this point on, remember that every game is now a best of 3. We have actually, now
Is
that I
it?
look at the replays, it's not. Sorry about that. I checked the Wikipedia page. It said there best of 3, but that doesn't add up with the replays. So we have best of 1s only. Okay.
Best of 3s played in one game. All right. Is this the wrong map? I think you
Yeah.
mentioned something about being a wrong map. Yeah, okay. They should have had to play on Power Bond, I'm assuming. The same map as the other players, but they're playing on Polypoid again, so. Right.
Yeah, that's how it is. They told the admins, or the admins noticed afterwards, and the admins decided that they don't want to force the players to replay the matches, and the losing players also did not complain because they agreed on the map. They started the game on Polypoid. They were okay with that. So yeah, that is completely fine here, and they are playing on Polypoid. And now we start with
Yeah, a little chat there.
yeah, we had some is this the map? So they were not sure, but they decided to play on Polypoid anyways, and yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I switched the colors here, and we are starting the game. In the top right, we have our red Terran. It is Handy.
All right, and in the bottom left, it is our blue Zerg, Ami Sheep. All right. Well, cross map position. These can definitely lead to a little bit longer games or macro style games, just because the rush distance is that much further, a little bit further. Doesn't mean we will necessarily have a game like that, but it leads towards that being more of an option.
Yeah, could be. So far, yeah, nothing unusual here. We have an Overlord for the Zerg, additional drones. We'll see if he goes for a 12 pool, which is very common, or he goes for an expansion.
It looks like this will be 12 hatch coming out from Sheep, so nothing out of the ordinary here. What I really want to see is how Handy plays this. Like, is he a mech player? Is he a bio player? Is he going to do something like a 1-1-1? Terran definitely has a lot of options in this matchup. Um, just comes down to what they're feeling, how they want to play. And Zerg will probably see 2 hatch come out from him, I would imagine. Like 3 hatch was really popular for a while, but now it seems like 2 hatch is all the rage in ZVT. It's pretty much only 2 hatch, and with this gas being taken here by Sheep, this does look like it will be a 2 hatch build coming out from him. Meanwhile, gas hasn't been taken yet for Handy, so this looks like it's going to be some kind of expansion, Rax expansion into probably bio play from him.
Yeah, so both players going for the economic build order here, and I mean they are in cross position, so will not see any early damage in this game. Both players are basically getting into the mid game very quickly.
Yeah, now, one thing I will say about Sheep is he's not afraid to pull the trigger at times. If he notices a weakness in your defense, say, excuse me, you don't have perfect SimCity or something at your natural, or you skimped on Marines or something, he sees the opportunity to run in with Zerglings. He may just go for it. Like, I was watching a few of his games just a couple days ago, and he was, doing that kind of thing a lot. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, right? So it's one of those things that aggressive Zergs deal with. It's like, okay, I make a bunch of lings. I got to get the damage done. If it works, great, I'm ahead or I win. If it doesn't work, I just lose, right? And it's finding that kind of balance. So we'll see if he goes for something like that. I wouldn't be surprised to see it, but at the same time, if Handy is ready for it, it could be a quick end to his game.
Yeah.
We'll see. So far, nothing too surprising here. He is going to scout that this is a 2 hatch lair. If he can keep that SCV alive long enough to see the tech, that would be good, but I don't think he will be able to, as Sheep picks it off there.
Yes, so Sheep decided to go for the lair before the speed, and I'm not sure, but I think Handy scouted that lair starting very early, so he should know that there's no speed right now. I mean, he saw the links, and he has no depot or bunker, so far it's fine, but at some point there's always the link speed coming. Mm, I'm not sure
Hmm.
if he's fine. For example, I mean, you mentioned that Sheep sometimes just pulls the trigger. If he makes a round of, I don't know, 12 more Zerglings, I could definitely see those Marines dying. But yeah, Handy just plays without any wall or bunker. And it works out
Yeah,
for him.
yeah, I saw Sheep poke in with those lings and see no bunker or anything. So I was watching. I went back and clicked these eggs to see. Like I was watching. I was expecting him actually to make some lings, but he is going to continue to drone here. So maybe not wanting to take that risk in this game, and he's just like, I'm going to play this straight up. I'm going to get my Mutalisks and see what I can do from there. He is going to continue poke in. He does see the bunker this time, so maybe that'll deter him from making a bunch more lings here. Yeah, a couple overlords, so he is going to just prepare for getting those Mutalisks out as soon as that Spire's done.
Yes, and he also expanded to the top left, so yeah, that's a pretty early expansion, I would almost say. Um, Now the Spire finishes. He has 400 murals, so he cannot make 6 murals immediately, but yeah, he still has some gas banked up, so he will definitely make some more. And Handy just building up, very standard, I would say. I think he went for the academy first and the engineering bay, researching +1 upgrade here, halfway done, and now adding up to 5 or 4 more barracks, which brings him up to 5 barracks. I think this is a very normal build that is very common.
Okay,
Yeah.
he did go for the academy first. That's good. I was gonna say if this was +1 5 racks, I'm not so sure about that because I believe two hatch is better against it. But yeah, okay, he did go to open with 2 racks academy, and he's just adding on extra racks. So like you said, he's gonna commit to a heavier bio kind of style with later tech. So he's gonna need to get out on the map at some point here with his bio, see if he can't deny a base before lurkers come into play. There is no Hydroden started, so he does have a little bit of time before lurkers become a possibility. And so far, the mutas haven't really done anything to hold him back or get any harassment damage done as of yet.
Yeah, I do have to say maybe I was mistaken. Maybe it was indeed the engineering bay first, because the range has just now started. I thought it's already done because there was nothing upgrading in the academy for a long time. The range is a very important upgrade for the Marines against the Mutalisks, and once the Marines, before the Marines have the range, the Mutalisks can do so much. They can pick off so many Marines, but it looks like Sheep is not even, he's not realizing that. He doesn't realize that he can actually fight the Marines that easily. And yeah, now the timing window is almost closed again, and the Marine range is completed.
Yeah, Mutalisk count is continuing to grow here for Sheep, so it looks like he is going to go for a pretty hard commit on these Mutalisks. He's still making more at home. He's even got Carapace upgrade on the way for them, about halfway done, so I don't think we're going to see any lurkers. He's going to run in with a few of these lings to see if he can pick off some of these turrets. He does get one of them down. Second one goes down as well. Will he get the third? It does open up a path for him to start picking off some of these SCVs at least.
Yeah, that's a very nice move here. Also, Marines can get behind these turrets very. It's very difficult for them, and he could pick off some more if he goes back into this right position. But yeah, he's now flying back into the main. Let's see what he can do there.
Yeah, I actually like this move from Sheep. He's continued to make a ton of Mutalisks. He knows because there's 5 Raxes here and there's still no factory to be seen that the tech is going to be very late. So there's going to be no risk of vessels anytime soon. So he can continue to stay on these Mutalisks. However, that said, there is a big group of bio coming across the map and these Sunkens are not ready yet. He's frantically trying to get them up. 3 colonies. He needs to start morphing those right away. Okay, they are turning into Sunkens, but is this going to be too late for him?
I think the Mutalist alone can defeat this army, to be honest. I think he's totally fine here.
Yeah, he does have a lot of mutas. We'll have to see. +1 carapace is almost done. It would be really good if that could finish up before this engage. Okay, it does finish off. So he will have +1 carapace, which will be very helpful. I would like to see that at least third colony made into a sunken, but we'll have to see how the engage goes here.
I just want to say the Zerg's job here is to intercept the reinforcements, and he did just that. So this is very nice of Sheep here, killing some Marines almost for free. And yeah, I just don't see this army doing anything here for Handy.
Well, we'll have to see. We still got 7 mutas there, 3 mutas back at home. No lings to really help buffer with this as well. Okay, he's going to morph that third sunken now. Will it be enough? There's still... Okay, factory just now being started on the Terran side, but hold on, thought we do have a bust attempt coming in here. Will this work? Where are the mutas? Okay, flies in. First sunken does go down. Mutas are getting destroyed here by the Bioforce. I think he's done it.
Okay, yeah. Without any Zerglings, that's not the fight he can take. Okay. Well, that's was at least for me a little bit unexpected that he dies that quickly.
Yeah,
With +1
I always
carapace
question.
even.
Yeah, that was a bit surprising. I think he needed either a couple more Sunkens or some Lings to help buffer for his Sunkens against those against the bio, but a bit unfortunate for him. However, he does get eliminated. He is the first player eliminated, and that means that Handy will go into the final match in this group against Favorite. Winner, of course, will go on to the round of 16, and loser will be eliminated from GosuLeague this season.
Yes. So we saw Handy play TVP already against Cruiser, and I mean he lost there, and now he's playing another TVP against a Protoss that is maybe a little bit stronger even. So that will be a hard game here. I definitely hope that he doesn't move out with two small armies again and basically grows his tank count a little bit more this game. Let's see.
Yeah, he did make some very nice moves in that game too. I gotta say, like his vulture play was really good. He killed a lot of probes. So if Favorite isn't careful and lets a few vultures in, especially early on, that could snowball for Handy for sure. But like you said, we'll have to see. Might as well introduce our players here.
Yes, so in the top right, we have our Swedish Protoss almost S rank. It is Favorit.
All right, and in the bottom right, we have our red Terran from Peru. It is Handy. All right, well, we got close spawns here. So it could be some push potential here if either player wanted to play a little bit more aggressively. Something like
Mm.
2-fact or 2-gate could come more into play here, but we'll have to see. I mean, both players, from what I recall, open pretty standard, pretty safe. So I imagine we probably won't see anything too different from that this game.
Yeah, I mean we have of course seen Handy in a TVP already. We have not seen Favorit in a PVT, however. So we don't know how Favorit plays his PVTs, but Handy definitely went a pretty normal standard game. But then skipped the drop defense a little bit and took a lot of damage there. So
Yeah,
maybe
that's
that's
true as well.
something that Favorit likes. That would
But
be
on the
nice
same
for
side,
Favorit.
yeah,
Yep.
if Favorite doesn't do something like that and he just plays something more standard like a 3-gate obs or something, maybe Handy will be in a much better position because we saw him take a lot of damage and still fight back against Cruza. What
Hmm.
happens if he doesn't take a lot of damage early on
Yeah.
and he still gets some vulture damage, or he, gets out onto the map with a strong army? Maybe he can get something done here. Looks like he wants to go for a little bit of a wall off. This isn't a complete wall at the moment, but it will give him SimCity if there is any kind of early zealot pressure, whereas Marines can move between the Iraqs and the depot there.
Yes. And Favorit still not scouting, so he will probably go for a rather quick expansion. Okay, now decides to scout. Okay. Yeah, usually Protoss are scouting a little bit later. That's fine. But is he scouting the correct direction? It looks like he is. Ah, yeah, he is doing so.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering too. It looked like, is he going to go cross map or is he going here? We actually have double scout coming out from Handy. Not scouting Protoss in that first position. He sent a second SCV out onto the map here, just really wanting to get in and confirm like this isn't something super aggressive or greedy. Like, see, oh, did you go 12 Nexus? Did you go 2-gate Zealot? Anything like that. And he will get into the base and confirm that there is nothing out of the ordinary here. He will see the core spinning. He will see just one gateway, gas being mined, probes being mined. So he should feel pretty comfortable in his position at the moment.
Yeah. And for Favorit, it's very important to confirm that fast expansion. It's very nice that he scouted very early, or he scouted the correct position early on. So now he can react to this very early, and he's choosing to react by proxying a robotics. But Handy's second scout SCV that comes back from scouting scouts it immediately. So that's very nice for Handy. But I mean, he doesn't have the units to deny this, I think. Mm, but Favorit still cancels and goes for a normal game from here.
Yeah, I think if Terran scouts it, they can just like build a couple more Marines and push it. Like they could, the Marines could push back the Dragoon and kind of deny it. Pull some Marines and SCVs, and you can kind of kill that before the Robo and Reaver come out. Um, but yeah, having that being scouted, favorite is gonna cancel. Doesn't want to take that risk, and it looks like he's gonna go for a Nexus himself. Will he get that down? Will the SCV try and deny it? Looks like SCV will not try and deny it. Just go straight into the main, and he will get that Nexus down here and transition into something a little more standard.
Yeah, and since I mean, as a Protoss, you have basically two big responses after seeing such a fast expansion. Either you expand immediately, no other goons or so, you expand immediately yourself, or you do what Favorit wanted to do, like you go very aggressive in proxy and so on. Now he tried to proxy, delayed his Nexus for that, and now had to cancel it. So his Nexus is pretty late, and Handy has that super fast command center, so that's very nice for him. But I have to say, this bunker position is very interesting here. This is very far out, and
Yeah.
he needs a third SCV right now.
Yeah, he
Right
had a
now.
third SCV up there, but he pulled it back. I don't know what that was all about. Okay, he's going to pull a Marine out to try and draw some fire to buy himself some time. He will get the SCVs on there to repair it in time. Yeah, that was weird. He had 3 SCVs and he pulled one of them away. I don't know. But yeah, he is going to be fine as long as he continues to repair that, okay? He's actually got an extra SCV repairing, so he's going to have to be a little careful there. If you have more SCVs repairing than goons, you can actually repair the bunker to full, and if you're not watching, then the bunker will eventually get taken down if you don't start repairing it again. But he will continue to repair that, so just forcing minerals, you know, trying to negate a little bit of that early expansion coming out from Handy.
Oh, the thing what you mentioned is happening. He repaired it full and he's not repairing. Oh my god.
No.
That's the problem if you have too many SCVs repairing and you don't pay attention to your bunker. Then you repair it to
Yeah.
full and it's just stopping. Now he lost his
Gonna-
bunker. Ah.
Yeah. He's going to have to be careful. I don't think this is going to end here. I mean, this wall is going to definitely choke it up. Siege mode just finished now. As long as he can stop those goons from getting in on top of that tank, he should be fine. And it looks like they're not even going to try. Second tank does come out, so he should be fine. Don't think he's even going to lose this barracks. Will that tank target the low Dragoon? Not. If he targeted that middle Dragoon, I think he would have killed it. But otherwise,
Yeah.
Favorite will back out, doesn't lose any Dragoons. So the game goes on. I mean, pretty even position, maybe you would say for both players. Maybe give a little bit of advantage for Handy, just because the Nexus was delayed a little bit there for Favorite. But nothing he certainly can't come back from. I mean, we can see he's going for a Reaver behind this. And Handy, as we know, took a lot of damage from Reaver in the first game. That could still be in his mind. Maybe he prepares a little bit better. I don't know if he scouted this or not, but it looks like he is preparing for it. We do have these turrets coming out around the map, so maybe he scouted it, or maybe he's like, I don't want to die to Reavers again. I'm just going to make sure I'm ready for it this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely is ready. I thought maybe Favorit actually wants to bust the front with the shuttle this time because he has no shuttle speed on the way. So if you don't go for shuttle speed, usually you don't go for that long-term harassment. You just go for like one quick bust. But yeah, he's still flying around. He got, oh wow, taking some additional shots on the goons. He got pushed back by the turrets in the main base. He's now going into the natural. There's a turret finishing here as well. So Handy is completely fine this time. So definitely adjusted and learned from his previous TVP. So that's very nice to see. And now he's in a good position. He also has a big worker lead here.
Yeah, so faster expansion. Reaver did nothing. Like, you got to be favoring Handy here a little bit, right? Looks like he's planning to maybe take his third base off 2 factories, maybe once again, or maybe not. Okay, actually, no, he's going to go ahead and throw down a bunch of factories. So he wants to go for some kind of a heavy mid-game push. Yeah, no armory, so this is going to be, looks like probably 6 factories coming out from Handy. So he's going to get a bunch of vultures out here shortly and go for a push. And Favorite is taking a third here. Will he be ready to defend this? He's only on 4 gateways. He does have the Reaver. I think he's going to have to use that to kind of delay, slow down, stall this push if he wants to be able to defend here.
Yeah, and also Favorit doesn't have a vision of those factories in the main base of Handy. So he doesn't know that this is coming. Usually, you definitely don't want to have less gateways than the Terran has factories, and that is the case here. And he is now, oh my god, he's actually going for Citadel and Forge instead of gateways here as well. I mean, the zealot speed is important, but he really needs to start adding gates very quickly, otherwise he will just lose to this push.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the observer here to see that there's no third base, but he also saw like a turret being built here, and the tanks are positioned in such a way that it looks like he wants to take the third base, so maybe that's what he's thinking. But he's also poising himself or poised here to take a fourth. Like he already blocked that off with some pylons. If he does take that fourth, I'm really, really worried for him. Like as you said, I'm already a bit worried. He does have two shuttles, so shuttle bombs can be very effective. But it looks like he actually wants to maybe try and go for a bust or a push in himself. I don't know about that. There's a lot of tanks here. They are kind of exposed at the moment, but here he goes. He is flying in with a couple of shuttles. All the tanks unsiege in time, so this isn't going to get anything done. However, the goons move in, couple of reavers. How does this fight go? If he can get on top of all these tanks and kill them, he'll be in a very good position.
Oh man, yeah. The tanks were completely by themselves. But I mean, he wins the fight, but he lost so many tanks again.
Oh,
But I think it's still enough, to be honest. But again, I have to criticize Handy a little bit for his tank positioning. I mean, he just waited. He didn't push yet. He just let them sit there. Why don't he let them sit on the high ground instead of the low ground? So that's a bit weird. But yeah, he won the fight anyways. Zealot speed is still not done. There are 3 shuttles. 2 of them are empty. And there are just no units because Favorit only has 6 gates now. That's not enough against 6 factories that early. And now he's losing his third base.
yeah. I mean, he lost all those dragoons trying to in that bust attempt. I mean, it kind of worked, but it really didn't because he lost all his units. Right? He's got nothing. And very nice shuttle bomb there, killing the tank and some marines and vultures there through that mine drag. But I still don't know if this is going to be enough. Okay, he does have the dragoons, so maybe he holds us back for now. There's no tanks. Okay, a couple more tanks are coming up. Will he be able to clear this up before the tanks can get into position and sieged up, though?
Yeah, Handy is losing a lot of units here, so Favorit is getting very efficient fights. The mind work was awesome. Now he's fighting massive vultures with goons only. That's also good for him. But yeah, losing the shuttles here, I don't think he can do more. The Reaver dies, and now there are 2 tanks. The 2 tanks will just crush the goons, and I think he has to. Yeah, he has to. I don't know. He cannot save the third, I think.
Yeah, he's also considerably down in probes and down in supply overall. So even if he cleans this up, he's not going to be in a great position fighting back. Like if he manages to hold off the push and reinforcements coming out from Handy here, he's still going to be in a pretty bad spot overall. It looks like he's kind of cleaning it up, but the reinforcements are coming in, and there's only a couple of zealots out. He lost the shuttle reaver. He's not building another one. Tanks are sieged up again, and I feel like Handy is slowly getting the advantage here, and he's going to be able to push and probably kill Favorit.
Yeah. That looks like it's the case. Yeah. Now there are 4 tanks. There are mines set up. There are more vultures, yeah. Now the time is over for Favorit. He cannot breach this contain anymore, I think. He has no units left.
Yeah. I don't know what more there is to say here. I mean, if he can break this, the one thing he does have going for them is there is no third CC started for Handy yet. Of course, as soon as I say that, the third CC does go down. So looking worse and worse position here for Favorite. He's probably going to lose the third base. He's really getting choked up into his natural here. No probes mining there as well. You can see he's down like 30 supply here. And it's just a matter of time. I don't blame him for staying. He want to fight. You don't want to be eliminated. I mean, this is do or die time. He's going to try and run in here with the Zealots. Will it be enough? Zealots try and get on top, but he doesn't even kill a single tank. More tanks just streaming in, more vultures. All the goons go down, and with that, Favorite's game goes down. GG. He taps out, and Handy is our second player to advance into the round of 16.
Yeah, congratulations to Handy. And Favorit is out. So I think many people thought that Favorit is indeed the favorite of the group. His MMR was also very high S rank, and he just loses anyways. So yeah, that's the problem when you are not scouting the Terran main base. You don't see those factories from going up, and you don't add gateways yourself. That's how it can end.
Yeah. Well, That was our first group. We still have another group coming out. It was a very exciting group. A lot of good games there. We had some good macro games, a couple of shorter games, and a good mix of matchups as well. So very fun group to start off GosuLeague this season.
Yes, and we'll take a small look at the group just to wrap it up here. Favorit, Cheap, Cruiser, and Handy. Those were the players we saw. Cruiser going out 2-0 out of this group, and Handy coming back from the losers game and advances in second place with 2-1 from this group. So yeah, we have a Terran in the next group. That's in the next round. That's nice. Okay, and with that, I think it's time for our next group. We are watching Group E next, which is this one. Yeah, here we have 2 Protoss, 2 Zerg. Let's also take a look here at their ladder performance, how they got here into the BSL GosuLeague. Okay, there we have it. So let's see. So we have LancerX. Oh, not using the account
Try
Lancer.
MAHARA. MAHAR for LancerX.
MAHA
R.
R. Okay, Maharaja. Okay.
Yeah, Maharaja, something like that. That is LancerX there.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, playing a decent amount of games, also very high MMR, but we just learned from the previous group that the MMR doesn't mean that you will advance from the group. So that's our first player. Second
All these
player,
players are,
yeah.
definitely of a caliber where they can take games against each other or from each other.
Yeah. On the other end of the spectrum of the MMR range that qualifies you for the BSL GosuLeague, I know the cutoff was at 2040 for the BSL GosuLeague. We see Deska here at 2062.
Playing Protoss? I thought he was Zerg.
Yeah, yeah. So that's pretty weird. Usually, sometimes the Protoss show as a profile shows as Protoss if you play a lot of Protoss games, like custom games or whatever. But I think Deska is definitely playing Zerg. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Yeah. I also noticed he played a lot of ladder games too.
Yeah.
Like Sheep did. Almost over 300 anyway.
Yeah, and we also learned playing a lot of games doesn't make you advance. So high MMR or high number of games, both not good factors to win your group. Yeah, but next we have our 2 newcomers, Sneasel and Cyrex. Let's see. Sneasel. Can't find
Try
him.
MAYER, Mayor. MAYER.
MAY. What's after Y? ER. Okay.
ER. ER.
Okay, so we have him. So that is our Polish Protoss Sneasel. Yeah, I mean, not a high number of games, but good MMR. Yeah, should definitely probably be a favorite of the group as well. But let's check our last player, Cyrex from Slovakia. He's here, also a little bit on the lower end of the MMR range with 2100 here. Okay, those are our 4 players. And now we will take a look at the first game. First game, as you can see here, will be LancerX versus Deska in a PvZ.
All right, should be a pretty good match, I would think. We did see a lot of Deska last season, and LancerX, of course, being a mainstay in the foreign scene. well-known, strong Protoss player. Deska likes to do these 2-hatch openings, fall behind early, and then come back and win the game anyway. We'll
Mhm.
see if he's changed his style from last season or if he still likes to play that kind of style.
Yeah, and I have information here. Sadly, that
Oh
game
no.
was not played. LancerX versus Deska was not played. LancerX did not show up and was disqualified from BSL. So that's information I have here. I'm not sure if that happened before or
So he
doesn't.
didn't play any of his games?
That's correct.
Or just the first game? Okay.
He didn't. He was. It's saying he was disqualified. I'm not sure for how long, but
Okay. Okay,
from
yeah.
this tournament, I guess he did not show up. Okay.
Well, that's unfortunate,
Yeah,
but I guess that means Deska goes on to the winners match.
that is correct.
So our first match would be Sneasel versus Cyrax then.
Yes.
Our two newcomers, we get to see how they play out.
Mhm. The map will be polypoid again, as we saw in the first group already for those initial 2 matches. And we are almost ready to get into the game here.
All right, excited to see these
Okay.
players. Let's
Yeah,
get it going.
players we have never seen before in GosuLeague. Maybe they changed their name and we don't know, but so far we have not heard of them. So yeah, I'm also very curious how they will do here. So let's jump in. Game is loaded. Let's go. Here we are in the bottom left on Polypoid. We have our blue Zerg. It is Cyrex.
All right, and in the top left, we have our red Protoss. It is Sneasel. So let's see here. We got close spawn, so gateway first or something could maybe be a little bit more effective. We'll have to see if he wants to go for that gate first or that forge first. Probe, what the probe does will probably tell us. Pawn goes down, so he's going to send it back to go mine the mineral. So this is probably going to be a 10 gate coming out from Sneasel. Meanwhile, what will the opening be from Cyrax? Looks like he's probably going for a 9 pool here. We don't have an Overlord being started, so looking to be maybe a bit aggressive early on.
Yes, so here it's very important in what direction the probe scouts to, and it looks like he's going to the right side. So he will take a long time to scout this opening from the Zerg player if he doesn't send out the second probe. So this could really do some damage here.
Yeah, potential to be a quick game or a dangerous position here. Now, I imagine not scouting the Zerg, he is going to continue to make zealots, not knowing what Zerg is up against or he's up against right away. One thing I did notice that Sneasel did is he scouted to see if the Overlord was coming from that direction. He did not see it. So now he's actually scouting. Oh, look at this. He's scouting for the Overlord here once again and is not seeing it. So he's going to try for bottom left. Now, you can kind of do this, but you're also taking a risk. If Zerg knows you're going to do this, or if Zerg wants to try and trick you and they scout the wrong direction, all of a sudden you're in a position where you're going to scout him even later. This time it is going to pay off. He is going to see the Overlord there. He's going to know, okay, I know for sure you're bottom left now. So it's going to be a little bit quicker to get there, but the Lings are already out on the map. If he sends the Zealot across and loses it early, he could be in a lot of trouble.
Mhm. I'm a bit confused that he's actually scouted this 3 o'clock, but then still went to the bottom right. That's
Yeah.
maybe it's just me, but it doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, Zerglings are going across the map. Zealot is sitting in the natural, so he will have 2 Zealots here and a probe. So it really depends on the micro. Okay, places down the forge
Perfect
just in
timing, yeah.
time. Very nice.
Very good. The only thing I could see about, or one thing I could see why he scouted there still is because he might know he would be able to see the Overlord if it was coming from bottom left. Because, I mean, he did see it, right? So he went there. That's the only reason I could see for him still going there. Or
Mhm.
either that or he thinks maybe he sent the Overlord in the wrong direction and he just wants to be sure. But yeah, we do have the Lings and Zealots out here. Looks like decent micro so far, hasn't lost any of the zealots. He's going to pull a couple more probes. Just want to make sure those lings do not get in here. Cannon is coming down now as well. As long as he can hold this choke until that cannon gets up, he should be fine.
Oh, Zealots almost getting surrounded here. Very close. Only one Zealot left. Gateway is almost going down. This next Zealot will spawn, but it will probably get surrounded. Oh, Lynx just retreat in that moment.
Yeah, gotta be very careful. Okay, that cannon, let's look like it's gonna finish. And so he should be fine here now. One Link tries to get in, but gets blocked. So he should be okay for now. Now he's going to throw down that Nexus. It's going to be quite delayed on the Nexus, but of course we know Cyrax's natural is going to be delayed, and he made quite a few links, so that's less drones. As you can see, even in the worker count right now, he's still only on 8 drones. So it should be a fine position here for Sneasel, and actually he's even going to throw down a third cannon, feeling the pressure. I'm not sure about the third cannon. I definitely agree with the second cannon, especially with his gateway being so low. The third cannon might be a little bit overcommit. And it seems he may actually have agreed with that and canceled the third cannon.
I have to say I kind of like the third cannon because his probe was in the main of Cyrex, and he seen that Cyrex was just making non-stop circlings, not a single drone there, and Cyrex is completely all in here.
Yeah.
Just wasting all the circlings.
Yeah.
He could have targeted down the gateway, maybe. That's what I was getting it to. And then if the gateway is down, then maybe 3 cannons help you a little bit more than 2. But yeah, now he wasted all the circlings anyways. And I'm not sure where we are in this game, because Sneasel also cut a lot of probes. So Sneasel, during all of this, getting the second cannon, getting the Nexus, his gas and core, he did cut a lot of probes as well. So the worker count is actually quite close after all of this.
Yeah, that's a good point. He was really feeling the pressure. Like you said, cut those probes. So he may not be as far ahead as you might have thought otherwise had he continued to produce probes. And we're still getting more lings here being made from Cyrax. So he really wants to go for that gate or something, or he doesn't want to die to a Zealot move out. But behind this, he's actually gone for a 2-hatch Spire. So he wants to rush up to Mutalisks here. And Sneasel hasn't scouted this at all. Now, he does have a Zealot out on the map, so he probably can get this in. Meanwhile, he does move out with a few more Zealots, but one or two there gets picked off from those Lings. Now, okay, he is going to get... This Zealot is huge, actually. If he gets this into the main and scouts the Spire before it finishes, he's going to have time to add in some cannons and be prepared. Cyrax still going for that gate. Will he get it? 3 HP, no way. Oh, one hit from killing that gateway.
Man.
Bit unfortunate for him, but...
Yeah, and now the Zealot is harassing his drones in the natural, and yeah, with that, I think Sneasel is in a very good position to take this game. Also, I really like that Sneasel actually got the Corsair out very early and also added a cannon in the mineral line before even scouting any Mutalisks. So yeah, that's very nice.
I would have liked... One thing I would say, I would have liked if he got that Zealot maybe into the main to confirm the attack or something.
Yeah.
Because he had no idea that this was 2-Edge Spire, right? He could have definitely added a second cannon or something. Added one at his natural. So these Mutalisks are still going to come as a bit of a surprise. But okay, he finally gets that gate after how many attempts? Does go down. We do have a Dragoon here out for Sneasel, so that'll actually help him a little bit. Not that Dragoons are the best unit in the world against Mutalisks, but anything that shoots up will definitely help a little bit. Now, Mutalisks are on the way. Still only one cannon. Still only one Corsair. Second one is being made here. We got a couple Dragoons coming out too. So maybe Sneasel sniffed this out a little bit, or he's a little bit worried, because normally you wouldn't see Dragoons coming out necessarily at this point in time.
Yeah, but I think with basically 2, almost 3 Dragoons and the cannon and 2 Corsair, almost... Yeah, okay, not almost 3, but... Yeah, okay, this cannon is undefended here. That's a problem. Usually you want to have that cannon defending your Corsairs from the Scourges. That's not the case here, so one Corsair dies, but those 3 goons are saving the day here for him. But he should just get some more cannons now, and he's doing that.
Yeah, we can see one coming up in the natural as well. I would almost like to see two because he knows he's in a commanding position.
Yeah.
Mutalisks, if he continue, like if Cyrex was continuing to make Mutalisks, you could maybe overrun or overpower him and be a good way to even this out economically, kill a bunch of probes or do some serious damage. So I'd like to see two cannons at least, and it looks like he is getting two in the main. Um, and he is going to pull or push those Mutalisks back for now. A few lings have been made as well, and we are taking a third base at 6 o'clock for Zerg. So he's not going to be too heavy of a commit here, and it looks like he wants to try and transition into a more macro style play for a follow up.
Yeah, that's correct. I have to be a little bit. I have to criticize Needle for leaving the wall open, completely open. If we see Cyrex switching to like 20 Zerglings or so, he could just run in here, kill the two cannons, and then remember he has no zealots, he has goons only against speedlings. So Mutalist and speedlings versus goons, that would not be the best scenario for Protoss. But now we saw that Cyrex did not switch to Zerglings, and now with the Archon out, Sneasel is totally fine.
Yeah, Archon's definitely going to be a little bit scarier there for Cyrex. I mean, you can certainly out micro an Archon with Mutalisks, but at the same time, it's dangerous. Like if it gets a couple of good hits on those Mutalisks, it can do a ton of damage, splash damage to all the Mutalisk clump. So got to be a little bit careful there. Meanwhile, third base is now up. He's going to begin to start droning there, even adding a fourth hatchery now at his net and a couple of sunkens, fearing for some kind of a push coming out from Sneasel here soon.
Yeah, and I mean, Cyrex only has Mutalist, so yeah, he definitely needs a Sunken if Sneasel decides to push, because Mutalist will not be able to fight against Corsair Archon Dragoon. And as long as Cyrex doesn't have any Hydralisk out or a big amount of speedlings, he definitely needs some defense here. But it looks like Sneasel's not going for an attack anytime soon. He's researching his Storm, he's researching the Zealot speed. Maybe once the Storm is done, he will move out on the map and see what he can do. But maybe he's just also securing his third base. Let's see.
Well, as you say that, it looks like the move out is happening. A couple of Templars. He's going to have that Storm ready to go very soon here. Mutalisks, if they can pick off those Templars, would be very nice. But got to be careful of that Archon and a couple of Corsairs there.
Okay, Corsairs are going down. So
That Storm killed his own Corsair,
yeah. yeah. One Mutalist down for two Corsairs, not too bad for Cyrex. And maybe now he can pick off the High Templars. But then again, he doesn't have any units to get stormed anyways. So if he picks off the Templars but loses the Mutalist, then it doesn't matter because there's nothing left to storm anyways. So yeah, the Sunkens obviously cannot be stormed. So the Templars are not even a huge danger for Cyrex here.
Yeah, well, first Hydras are coming out. We do have Lurker upgrade just about to finish up, so I'm guessing he's just going to get some Lurkers here soon and use them to help secure his bases and defend there. Yeah, okay, we do have some Lurkers being morphed at the third base. Meanwhile, Mutalisk's back in the main, picking off a couple of cannons here, and maybe you can get a few probe kills in the process. The army's kind of out of position to deal with this at the moment.
Yeah, very conveniently here, Corsair spawns from the Stargate, some goons push back the Mutalist, so yeah, okay, he used like 3 Mutalists to kill 2 cannons, but in the end not accomplishing a whole lot. But yeah, with those Lurkers, he will definitely survive a little while longer, I would say. And it looks like we are heading into a proper mid-game now.
Yeah, another push out onto the map here from Protoss. Unfortunately for him, he does not have observers. In fact, he doesn't even have a robotics started, so he probably won't be able to bust in or push any position here. And this could be what Cyrex needs. Could buy him a lot of time to set up get his additional bases running, and get an army to contest Sneasel here. Sneasel's gonna try and push in a little bit. There is only one lurker. One lurker isn't the scariest, especially if you have a couple of storms, but a couple more maybe popping up here. He's going to be able to get a little bit of damage done, but I don't think he's going to be able to fully push in here with these lurkers now.
Oh, one last lurker on 4 HP. And Sneasel tried to focus it. It barely burrowed before it was killed.
Did you? Oh, I think he wanted to actually kill it with the Archon. If you saw, he put a Dragoon right on top of that. I think he was trying to get his Archon over there to kill the lurker with the splash from the Archon on his own Dragoon, but unfortunately it didn't work out that way. Would have been very cool to see if he had gotten that, and maybe he could have pushed in further. Okay, he does have a Storm, so he does kill the last lurker. Maybe he can still get some damage done and push in here.
Yeah, no more lurker for Cyrex. I mean, he definitely should have felt the danger here with only one lurker on 4 HP, but yeah, he's not ready for this attack now, and now he's losing some hatcheries for it, maybe some drones as well.
Yeah, I mean, even if Sneasel doesn't kill... Oh, very nice lurker pick there as well. Doesn't kill Cyrax here, he can at least kill a couple of hatcheries, and the damage has been done, really. Like, he's killed the whole army, he's killed some drones. I mean, he killed some of these buildings, he killed off that hatchery. That's going to be a lot of production gone now for Cyrax. So maybe Cyrax holds here for now, but once the Observer comes out and the continued macro coming out from Sneasel, I worry for Cyrax here. I don't think he's going to be able to hold too much longer.
Yeah, at this point, Sneasel has so many units, he can just run over the lurker. He should not respect the lurker anymore. It's just one lurker. He doesn't need Observer for that. He can just run over it into the main base and kill everything.
Yeah, we got another random lurker burrowing here somewhere between the third base and that mineral only base there. He's just going to run past that, try and run up there. There's a few Sunkens and a couple lurkers. I don't know if that'll be too effective, but he's going to just use his Dragoons, sit there out of range, slowly pick down this hatchery, killing the natural. And robotics facilities done. Observatory just finishing now. So we'll imagine we'll see him queue up a couple of observers here shortly. And once those observers are out, I think we'll just see him run over Cyrax.
Yes, there's really almost nothing left for Cyrax. He has some units, some sunken in third, at the third still, but with losing the natural, even if he makes mass sunkens now and tries to survive, he still has nothing left. I mean, you don't want to be on the same basis with Protoss. And if you really have to make mass sunkens to even survive on the same number of bases, then that's definitely not a good position for you as a Zerg.
Yeah, he does have a ton of drones in the main, so if he could get his natural up and running, he would be able to saturate that very quickly and have a pretty decent economy going. But like as you said, this army just from Protoss is just so much more massive. You can see it's like 60, 70 supply up here over Cyrax. First observer is coming into the mix now, and he has nothing to really pick off that observer to buy himself some more time. One Hydralisk pops out, but that's probably not going to do it. And now he's going to be able to kill all of these lurkers off, and I think he's just going to be able to kill Cyrax off. Take the game here, so nicely played from Sneasel. I was pretty impressed and by these games. Like, they were definitely different style than what you would normally see. The openings, we had that 9 pool. And there it is. GG is called, so Sneasel does move on into the winners final. And Cyrax into the losers final, but if I'm to understand Lancer X not showing up, it will move Cyrax actually into the final match.
Yes, that is correct. So Cyrax in the final match. And yeah, we'll see Sneasel versus Deska in the winners match. So another PvZ here coming. Thanks for the follow. Okay, Sneasel versus Deska is loading up, and the winner of that match will of course advance to the round of 16.
Yep. All right, the map will be Power Bond. This one.
Yeah, maybe I show the map for anyone who came in a little bit later. Power Bond is a map that is not played on ladder and has not played in the last 2 seasons or so in BSL. So let's take a very small look at Power Bond. Here we see it on the screen, a 3-player map. Apart from that, I would say it doesn't have any like crazy features like vision blocking or
Mhm.
neutral buildings that block certain pathways or so. Nothing like that on this map. It's still a pretty standard three-player map, I would say.
Yeah, one thing I will say is like the third base is pretty open to some kind of flanks or attacks, and it also doesn't have a gas, so that could be a little bit harder for say Protoss if they want to go for a three base. Now they're going to be on a lot of minerals, going to be short a little bit of gas, and they're going to need extra defenses there to kind of hold that position because they can flank it from so many different positions. So maybe this is a kind of map where you might see a stronger, heavier two base play coming out of Protoss against third, but you can certainly still play three base. You're just going to have to spend a little bit more care defending that. So we'll have to see how the players want to go here.
Yeah, and with that, let's jump into the game. Here we go. Winners match in Group E of the BSL 12 GosuLeague, and in the top right corner we have our Protoss player. It is Sneasel.
All right, and in the 6 o'clock position is the blue Zerg from Mexico. It is Deska. So what are the chances he goes for like a two hatch lurker drop build? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think against Terran, it's a little bit higher chance that he will do it. Against Protoss, that's
Yeah,
really not the most common build. But then again,
yeah,
he's in a winner's match, so even if he loses this, he has one more shot. So maybe we could see it, but I don't think so.
yeah. I mean, we have seen him mix it up against Protoss. I think I'm pretty sure he went like lurker drop every game against Terrans, but
Yeah.
yeah, that could have just been a one-time thing. Like maybe he changes it up this season too. Always an option.
Well, maybe he
Looks like it will be Pate first. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe he thinks that his opponents are doing some research and watch the games from last season, so they then would be super prepared. But I don't think many players think that way. Many players research that hard in the Ghost League, maybe in Pro League in the highest level, but I don't think many of the Ghost League players are putting in so much research that they dig out some older games from previous seasons. But maybe, we don't know.
Or maybe they just watch some of our casts and recognize the guy. But we'll have
Yeah.
to see. Gateway opening once again from Sneasel. So we saw him do this last game. Looked pretty solid in doing so. Was up against a 9 pool. This time he is up against an over pool.
Yeah, and afterwards comes the hatchery after the pool. Probe decides to go
Uh,
into the main base to scout the pool timing instead of blocking the hatchery. Definitely the little bit safer play for the Protoss, I would say. And yeah, he sees 6 links, or at least 3 eggs, so he can assume there are 6 Zerglings. So that first Zealot is actually staying in the natural here.
yeah, which is fine. Hatchery went down a little bit late for Deska. I don't know if he made a couple extra drones before the hatchery or something. I just noticed they went down to like 210 or 215 when normally it would go down just shortly after 2 for with an overpool. So maybe he just paid a couple extra drones or something. I wasn't paying close enough attention to that. But we do have the Zealot actually moving out onto the map now. Looks like he wants to try and avoid or go around these Zerglings and see if he can't pick off some drones. With the Zerglings out front trying to harass his gateway.
Yeah, maybe possible. Do we see additional Zerglings for Deska? The probe died, so those 2 Zerglings that are in the main are also now leaving their own base, so they are going towards the Protoss base. So that means there's not a single real fighting unit here for Deska in his main base. So yeah, this Zealot could actually do some damage.
Yeah, nice play there to sneak that Zealot around. He is going to be able to get that in. Lings, okay, I thought the Lings were coming back, but they're just going to sit out a little bit further away from Sneasel's natural here. He's not really going to be able to do any damage. That cannon is going to come up. So Sneasel's going to be fine. Meanwhile, the Zealot does get in here. He's going to try and start picking off a couple of drones. It's going to force at least a few more lings out from Deska. It's actually forcing a lot more lings. He's making at least 8 more lings here to deal with the Zealots. So very nice move coming out from Sneasel. Definitely well worth it, even if he doesn't trade particularly well with the Zealot.
Yeah, and with that, Sneasel of course also knows that there are no many Zerglings out because he sees the Zerglings getting produced in the main base, and he already knew that there were 6 Zerglings in front of the main base, so he knows the Zergling count. But he still goes for another attack with 3 Zealots here. I'm not sure if I like that after seeing so many Zerglings.
Yeah, like he had already forced the Zerglings. He is going to get into a good position, a pretty good position here. But no, the Zerglings are getting too much surface area on these first couple of Zealots, so not really a great trade there for Sneasel. I would have preferred if he had kept those Zealots at home. Like that one that snuck out definitely got the damage done.
Yeah,
I
if you
still think
force
he's in a fine
Zerglings.
position, but sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, if you force Zerglings, then you should not look for a fight. If you forced some additional fighting units, it's not the best idea to look for a fight. But yeah, anyways, he did it, but he's still fine, as you just mentioned. He has 2 Zealots in the wall and 2 cannons, so he should not die to this sling attack.
Meanwhile, we do have, looks like pretty standard coming up from Deska. That third hatch actually seems, okay, no, never mind. He is going for a 2-hatch build. That third hatch only just being started, so he went for a 2-hatch Spire. Now, will Sneasel be ready for this? I don't think he scouted that. Maybe he scouted the lair. I wasn't paying enough attention, but will he have cannons up in time? Looks like he is starting one in the main. First Corsair started. He actually got a pretty early Templar Archives too, so he probably wants to go for some kind of a Sair DT. I imagine we'll see a DT started here for him shortly, or once these Zealots are done.
Yeah, and he confirms the Spire actually with the probe. So despite Deska having speedlings, the probe still sneaks by and gets into the main base. So maybe a little oversight of Deska here. But now Sneasel should be totally fine. He's starting a second cannon and starting a second Corsair as a reaction. And with that he should be totally fine against the incoming Mutalisks.
Yep. All right, Mutalisks will fly in now. We'll see cannon done in the main. Gonna go check the natural maybe. He's just gonna turn around. Maybe he could have got a little bit done there at the natural, but by the time he flies around there now, first cannon at least will be warping in here.
Yeah, to be honest, I have to say that happens way too often that players defending Mutalisks, could be Protoss or Terrans as well, they first build the static defense in the place that is closest to the Zerg. But they are sometimes completely open in the other spot. So sometimes I feel like if Zergs would just fly their Mutas not to the closest location, but to the furthest location, they could often get a lot of free damage in.
Yeah, I've noticed that too in some of the games we've casted in previous seasons and stuff, or even in my own experiences and stuff. It's like, oh, my cannons weren't done here, but they were done there, and he flew in there. Okay, I'm good. But as it stands, he's in a perfectly fine position. Mutalisks weren't able to get really any damage done. He's going to get a couple of Scourge out. See if he can't pick off maybe those Corsairs. And continue to drone up from here. Getting that third base saturated. And teching to Lurkers here at the same time. Well, it's almost complete.
Yeah, and Sneasel is actually going for mass Corsairs, so he's already on 4, building a 5th one now, but no +1 upgrade for air. So that's a little bit interesting, because if you go for a lot of Corsairs, usually you want that upgrade, otherwise they're just not as effective, and you definitely need even more Corsairs to be able to kill Scourges. So you need, I'm not sure if 6, I think, is the number if everything goes perfectly fine, but you rather want to get 7 if you have no upgrades to actually kill Scourge when they fly towards you. So that's a lot of gas. That's a lot of gas spent. that will probably not be super effective. But maybe he will show us that he can still have very effective Corsairs without the upgrade even.
And I do have a Zealot scouting around, seeing if he can find that third base. But yeah, no, I agree with what you said. Like, I've actually seen both sides of that. Like, I've seen players go for a low Corsair style and get the +1 air upgrade, so they only make 1 or 2 Corsairs, but they also get the air upgrade, and it's like, well, that doesn't seem worth it. But then we have the flip side here, where he's going to make a bunch of Corsairs and not get the upgrade. You know, it feels like if you're going to make a bunch, just get the air upgrade. It's going to be more worth it the more Corsairs you have. But if you're not going to get it, then don't, you know, if you're not going to make a lot of Corsairs, then don't get the upgrade, because it's not really worth it if you're only going to have 1 or 2 Corsairs.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. Like you said, he is up to 7 Corsairs now, that number you were mentioning. See if he continues to make any more, or if he's going to stop there. Looks like probably stopping there for now. Meanwhile, he is going to push out onto the map, but there are a couple of lurkers here. Deska and his lurkers already out. Robo facility is not done, so these lurkers are going to at least be able to possibly pick off the gateway here. But the Zealots have gotten out on the map, and are there any lurkers back at home for Deska? That's the question. It doesn't look like it yet.
Yeah, he has 2 building here in the natural, so he's fine on that front. But there are no lurkers and not even hydras in the third base. So if those zealots, they are very close already. If they just run in here, okay, never mind. There's 1 lurker. Okay, I must have missed that, or it just came. But yeah, that 1 lurker should be enough for the defense against the detectionless
Well, we'll
zealots.
see. I mean, Sneasel isn't really scared of lurkers from what we saw last game, right? He was fine against 1 lurker. It looks like he's not scared of the 1 lurker here either. He's going to commit in with these outs. He's going to pick off both those Sunkens right away. He's going to start killing a bunch of these drones. So yeah, I got to say this is probably worth it for him. If he loses all these zealots, maybe not so much, but yeah.
Well,
it was looking good for him at first, but losing all those zealots.
Yeah, I think I agree that it's worse for him because he killed so many drones. But then again, I think Deska just had to pull the drones and it would be fine because those zealots will not kill the hatchery with the lurker being next to the hatchery. But now he lost a lot of drones, so this was nice damage for Sneasel, I think. Now he just has to get some more units, defend this attack, and I think Sneasel's in a good position.
Yeah, but in saying that, we are getting a bit of a contain setup here, so he's going to have to break that out pretty quickly. He doesn't want to let too many lurkers get up. Looks like he will be able to push this back, so the contain will not be able to go down here for Deska. So nice play from Sneasel, the man who is not scared of lurkers whatsoever. But yeah, so fine position. Looks like he's going to go ahead and take his third base. He's not actually going to take that mineral base close to him. He wants that gas base, so you can see he's taking a little bit further away. It's going to be nice for him to have the gas, but at the same time, it's going to be harder to defend, especially if Zerg goes for some kind of a counterattack with like a group of Lings. It's just going to be so much further away for him to get some Zealots or something over there to protect that base.
Yeah, but then again, I think since you have not a wide open area, but only 2 small ramps to defend, I think it can also be easier to defend if you have some cannons and you just have like 4 zealots and a Templar there at all times. You just leave them there. Then I think it can be actually easier to defend. So
Yeah.
I definitely like it with the gas, with the third gas. I definitely like to take that base.
Yeah. Gas, of course, very important here for Protoss. You're going to keep making those gas units, those Templars. Eventually, later on, Archons or Reavers. And he's already spent a lot of gas building up this big Corsair fleet. Where does he go from here now? Like, it looks like Deska, I mean, is kind of exposed everywhere. He doesn't have a lot of units at this third base. And this is a pretty big army out on the map for Sneasel at the moment.
Yeah. The thing is, it looks like Deska doesn't have a lot of units anywhere. Even the small group in the natural here, I think it's no match for Sneasel's army. So I think Sneasel can just choose a position and kill it here. And he's choosing the third base location. Getting a little bit stuck on the ramps there, but
Yeah.
yeah, he will clear this no problem.
Oh, so the response from Deska, though, look at this. He's going for a counterattack, kind of a base trade scenario here. Looks like Sneasel realizes this. He's going to pull back most of his army. leaving enough here to kill this base. So he's going to be able to kill this base, but the question is he going to be able to save his own? Hydras and Lurkers, a couple of mutas already getting on top of the natural base. This natural should fall before the base, or before the army from Sneasel can get back to save it. In fact, he's actually even starting to move into the main, see if he can't get on top of the rallies here. This is getting kind of crazy here.
Yes. Oh, and Sneasel's army turns around once again and is now switching target to the natural here. So Sneasel, a little bit indecisive, has probably given up his main base. That could definitely bring Deska back in the game, I'm not sure.
Well, it looks like he's decided he's not going to get back in time to save it, so his best play is going to be to try and kill Zerg and hope Zerg doesn't have enough defenses here, but I think Zerg might. Like, he's got pretty good SimCity, he's got a couple of Lurkers. Oh, Willie, I don't know who's going to win. This is kind of crazy.
Oh, the observers, they will get shot by the Spore once the score there is dead.
Oh yeah, he cannot lose those observers. If he loses those observers, even one Lurker could eventually kill the whole army.
Oh, this is so close. Main base is completely dead. Oh, still some gateways producing some units, but... this one Lurker. Okay, one Lurker is it? No! Okay. Wow. Observer died in the same moment that the Lurker dies, so no Lurker, no Observer anymore. But yeah, this SimCity of Deska is just too good, and I cannot believe it, but it looks like Deska is actually winning this game now.
Yeah, there are a couple observers out around the map he could bring in if he needed them, but yeah, part of his army is getting split up too. He still has a couple of Dragoons and Saris here at the natural, and some more chased out. I think if he stayed, maybe he could have still busted through, maybe not, but there's so much army left here for Deska. Both players are in the red supply at the moment.
Yeah.
Neither player can produce anything. We do have like 2 gateways for Sneasel at that high ground base that he took. It looks like he's trying to set up the other main base with some Ganons on top of the ramp. If he could get that set up, maybe, but otherwise, what can he do? This is such a scrambly game. Okay, he is now not supply blocked anymore. He can't actually produce a Zealot, but he could produce a Probe. Yeah. Okay, we do have an engage here. Now, who's going to win this fight? The Templars are out of position. They're going to be able to get on top of these Dragoons. Okay, Storms go down, but nice dodging from Deska.
The Observer died. There are only 2 more Observers on the map, and those are the last Observers that Sneasel have, because the Robotics died, and there are still Lurkers in the game for Deska. So Sneasel really has to be careful with the Observers at this point.
Yeah, this is getting kind of crazy. There's a pretty big army left. Like, Sneasel has more probes, but the standing army for Deska looks bigger. Nice Storms going down. Now, if Deska can take out this army and deny one of these bases, I think he'll take this game.
Yeah, he just killed 3 High Templars, only 1 storm, or maybe 2 storms were cast, but I mean only like 2 or 3 Hydras died for 3 High Templars. I think 2 of them even had 2 storms, so that was definitely a very nice trade for Deska. And now he's attacking this location. Probes trying to block the ramp, but against Lurkers it's not the best idea. Okay, 1 Lurker dies. Second Lurker is...
He needs to target the Lurker.
Oh my god, Hydras are getting up the ramp. Okay, Lurker is dead, but Cannons are also dead, and the Hydras will make short work of these probes. And with that, this base is dead. So the only base here is this weird super small base that he has.
Well, we do have a few units coming in still. He might be able to clean up these Hydras, but there's still more Hydras coming in for Deska as well for a little bit of a flank. Oh, he's got a ton of Hydras coming out from his main base. He's not saturated really at all at his natural, so this has to work for him, but it looks like it probably will with these reinforcing Hydras.
Yeah.
There's just no units for Sneasel here to be able to hold this off, and this is just too many Hydras. I think Deska's done it.
Yeah.
I think he's got this game. Yeah, and Sneasel agrees. He does leave the game. So Deska takes it and advances in the wildest game we've had here tonight so far.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, congrats to Deska. And we have a nice information in the chat here by Metaphysics. Sneasel was in the BSL 11 Pro League. We thought he's a new player, but he was in Pro League last season.
Yeah, very
That's
nice.
interesting. I didn't know. Sorry?
Yeah. That was a crazy game too. We just saw with him and Deska. Very nice game. Yeah, I'm just reading through the chat here.
Yeah, and with that, again, Deska advances to the round of 16. Sneasel drops down from the winners match to the decider match. And usually we have the losers match next, but as we mentioned earlier, Lancer X sadly did not show up to this group and was disqualified. So yeah, he's not here, and that means we have Cyrex being in the decider match against Sneasel here.
Yeah, and this will be a rematch from the first round. We did see Sneasel take that to get into the winners match here. So can he do it again? Being in Pro League, maybe he is favored in this match. We'll have to see. He did look pretty strong, for sure. And we are seeing Shakur's Temple for the first time today. I think for the first time the players are actually playing on the correct map for the final game.
Yeah, and since that is the first time we see this map here today, let's take a small look at Shakura's Temple. So here we have it. I mean, it's played on ladder, so most of you probably know the map, but makes sense for anyone who's not actively playing and just watching to get a little refresher here and see the map. And remember, we have a PVT here. We see the win rate of Zerg versus Protoss a little bit in favor of the Zerg. But yeah, I mean, it's not a huge margin. We'll be fine, I think.
Yeah, this may help our Zerg player out. Statistics definitely in his favor. He did lose to Protoss in the first match, but maybe on this map he can take it down and secure himself a spot in the round of 16.
Yeah, and let's see if that's going to happen in this final match. We are ready. Final match of Group E, final match of the stream. Let's go. Okay, here we are. Again, Shakura's Temple. And in the bottom right, we have our Protoss player. From the Pro League last season, it is Sneasel.
All right, and his opponent in the top right is our Blue Zerg, Cyrax. So, do or die for both players. Winner does advance to the round of 16. Loser will be eliminated from the tournament this season of GosuLeague. Who's going to take it? Let's see. We do have the Overlord Scout going towards Sneasel's base in the correct direction, so nice little early thing for him there. He will be able to scout and see what Sneasel is up to pretty quickly here.
I do have to say that it can be a little bit difficult to have the perfect wall on this map as a Protoss. Shakura's Temple is kind of unique in that regard because every position on the map needs a different wall, a different perfect wall. So that could sometimes be a factor, but I mean, we can see. I think this is a perfect wall here. Sneasel definitely a caliber of player that knows how to wall on the tournament maps, so that's nice.
Yeah, to add on to that, like I've even made a map. I went into this map and made the walls on every position for myself, just so I know, okay, this is the wall I want to do. This is how I'm going to do it, kind of thing. Because, like you said, the walls here can be a little bit tougher for Protoss, but this wall is going to be good. He's going to place the forge underneath there. It's going to be link tight, except for on the top where he can block that with a couple of zealots.
Yeah.
And nice for him, he is also going to get this first scout, so he's going to see exactly what he's up against. He's going to see that the pool is just about finished. He's going to send his probe down here to try and block a hatchery coming out from Zerg. But as we can see, he's not going for the hatchery just yet. He's going to make those Zerglings. And of course, Sneasel is going to see this, so I imagine we'll see him keep his Zealot at home like we've seen his reaction in the previous games so far in this group.
Yeah, so we have seen Cyrex going for early link pressure in the first game. Now he's doing the same, but Sneasel was completely fine. That was the game where we saw Cyrex trying to kill that gate over and over again and failing and failing and failing, but then in the very end getting that gate. Let's see if this gate is surviving this time.
Yeah, he really wanted it. He did eventually get it, but I think it cost him too much. We did have that probe block that hatchery a little bit, which was nice for him. Now, Zerglings are running in here. We do have a Zealot and Probe in position. Second Zealot is popping out. Nice save on the Probe there. He looks like he will eventually get it, but a couple Lings go down. Zealots are still alive. Oh, I like this. The Probe block here at the natural. Just going to stop those Lings a little bit more, get those Zealots to come catch up to those Lings, see if you can't get a kill on them. One thing that can be wearisome here is he has nothing blocking. If there were more Lings following up, they could potentially get into the natural here. But of course, he does have the Probe still alive in Cyrax's base and see that he is continuing to produce drones. So he knows, okay, there's probably no more Lings coming my way. And I just need to deal with the ones that are currently in my main base.
But this is already a big difference to that first game we saw from these two players. Then in that game, Sneasel had 2 Zealots ready in the wall when the Zerglings arrived, and he was completely safe. This time he has the Zerglings inside of his main base, and that's always a hassle for the Protoss. But so far he's dealing very well against that. I think he lost a total of 2 probes against the Zerglings, so that's definitely fine. Maybe we'll lose a third one here.
Yeah, does lose that third one, as you said, but ooh, even a fourth one, so not bad. That's pretty good damage there for Cyrax. We can actually see in the worker counts pretty close there. Meanwhile, Zerg's side, we do have that lair started. We do have a third base started. So imagine this is going to look somewhat standard. We're probably going to go into a Spire once that lair has finished. Meanwhile, on Protoss side, okay, I heard cannon. He was firing at that Overlord, but the Overlord will get in. We'll be able to confirm the tech choices here for Sneasel. He hasn't started mining that gas yet. Okay, there he goes now. So that gas is going to be a little bit delayed. He's not going to be able to start a Stargate right away as soon as his Cyber Core is done. But he should be able to start that quickly shortly after, if that is his tech path of choice here.
Yeah, meanwhile he is sending those 2 Zealots out. So far he can see with the probe. The probe is still alive. That's very nice of Sneasel here. He can see that there are no Lings on the map basically. Only that one chasing the probe, and he can see of course some Zerglings in front of his main, but he sees that there are no Lings around the bases of Cyrax. So these Zealots are getting some damage done. However, I don't know if the third base is the best location, because there's basically no mining anyways. And I don't think he will get the hedge. Maybe if he tried to get some drones in the natural would be a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, Lings are coming back to deal with these Zealots. He's actually moving them into a very nice position. That's going to be super hard and annoying to deal with. So nice positioning there from Sneasel. He's got 2 more Zealots running into the natural at the same time. And now the Zerglings are going to be a little bit out of position to deal with these. So he will get into the natural, or into the main, sorry. And this will be very good because he's also going to see the Scout. He's going to see the Spire and know exactly what he's up against here. Now, one thing I did notice is he started his +1 with his first 100 gas on the Zealots, so he did not go for that Stargate right away, and we can see even a Citadel done on his side. Hold that thought. We do have Zealot trading with some Lings behind the minerals. Other Zealot gets taken out, so nice reaction there from Cyrax, not taking too much damage, but these Zealots are continuing to hammer at that third base.
Yeah.
And getting it quite low.
That's dangerous.
It looks like it will survive, but yeah. We'll see if that comes into play later, like maybe he'll be able to snipe that. With his +1 speed Zealot attack.
Yeah, but what is the answer against Mutalisk? That's what I'm curious about. So far we don't see any cannons, we have no Corsair, we have no Dragoons, we have nothing, basically. Maybe he was so focused on the Zealot micro that he didn't actually realize that there's a Spire, he didn't really consciously look at the buildings being made, because he feels pretty unprepared. He just got the pylon in the natural. He has still no cannons even started here in the natural. That can be risky.
Yeah, and Cyrax knows this too. Like, he's got the Overlord sitting in the main, sees 0 cannons, so I would really expect to see him make some Mutalisks, but we don't have any being made at the moment. I guess he is supply blocks. That's very unfortunate for him. If he had Mutalisks on the way, he could potentially do a lot of damage here. Like, there's not even any Templars out to be morphed into an Archon, so Like, a group of Mutalisks flying in right now could be almost game-ending damage against Sneasel.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so shocked that Sneasel is not getting any cannons without any scouting formation, and with the Spire being done, Sneasel is not getting any cannons, and then Cyrex seeing that, but still no Mutalisk. Because, yeah, he was supply blocked. That is a big problem. He's going into Mutalisk right now, but now Sneasel, he already has a bigger army and he's pushing out on the map, so now the Mutalisks actually have to defend their own main base or their expansions. So now the Mutalisks can't even go for harassment.
Yeah, exactly, and that's going to buy time. Like, as soon as Sneasel sees these Mutalisks, we're probably going to see him throw down a couple of cannons. He's even already starting to morph an Archon here. I don't know about this going into the natural. I would actually like to have seen him gone for the third base, just because we know that hatchery's so low, he could probably snipe that. He is going to turn and go there now. He did lose a few Zealots in the natural. Will he have enough to snipe it? It looks like he's deciding, no, I'm not. I'm going to have to turn back. So nice pickoffs there for Cyrax. He didn't really take any damage, and he killed most of the army there out on the map for Sneasel.
Yeah, that was very nice. Sneasel now finally starting the first cannons in the middle line. If the Mutalisks go straight to the natural here, he can definitely kill those cannons. There's only one cannon, and of course that Archon. He could kill this cannon on the top here if he micros correctly.
Yeah, definitely going to have to be careful with that Archon out. Of course, you can micro around the Archons, but if you take a couple of hits, that's a lot of splash damage on your Mutalisks. He does have 2 Archons moving around now. Flying over the cannons, taking some damage. We'll be able to pick off at least one of these cannons. And actually, it's in such a spot that I don't even know if the Archon can get here. It'd be incredibly hard. Like, the Sim City of Sneasel is working against him here. Archon can maybe... No, I don't even think it can fit between the cannon and the Nexus there, so...
Yeah, no.
Finding a nice little spot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Archon can actually not get to the bottom right, so the best decision would be to just hold position the Mutalisks in the bottom right corner, I think. So to completely deny mining, but Cyrex is not sure about it. Oh, but killing 2 High Templars here, that's also very nice for Cyrex. And
yeah,
I'm not sure if this attack can do a lot here for Sneasel. There's a little SimCity, there are Sunkens, and there's only one Archon.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Mutalisks here too. I mean, Sneasel is going to go in and try for this, but we'll have to see. Like, you got to be careful of that Archon. I'd actually like to see him... Okay, he is actually targeting the Archon. Very nice move there. He had both those Sunkens attacking the Archon, so he was able to pick it off, knowing that his Mutalisks will be able to deal with these Zealots after that is gone. And that's exactly it. So I'm starting to get worried here for Sneasel. Like, he's had a few of these attacks and they haven't done a lot of damage. Yes, he killed a couple of drones. Yes, he killed the Sunkens, but he's done no real economic damage and no real army damage to Cyrax, right? Like, this whole time his Mutalisk flock has been continuing to grow. There's not really any anti-air other than a couple Dragoons and a couple Archons. At this point, I would actually like to see maybe even a Dark Archon. That could be effective. Like, if you could get one Dark Archon out and get a Maelstrom off on the Mutaclump with a couple of Storms, that would be very good for him. But it doesn't look like that's on the menu, so I'm getting pretty worried for him. Will Cyrex be able to take this game?
I definitely have to agree, and the Mutalisks accomplished so much already because Sneasel, has no Corsairs, and if you have no Corsairs, and you send in your army anyways, you lose a lot of units. And now these Mutalisks are back into Sneasel's base. And Sneasel even got 2 cannons in this bottom right corner, but that's not enough. There are so many Mutalisks, and Sneasel is basically not mining in the main base anymore. He's losing all the probes, but he's going for the counterattack. 3 Sunkens and a few Hydras here.
We'll have to see how this is gonna go. Like, without the Mutalisks there to help defend, he might be able to bust through here. There's not a ton of units other than those Mutalisks. He gets on top and kills all those Sunkens. Ton of Zealots and Archons still alive. Okay, he has to bring the Mutas back now, but this is gonna be a lot of damage, I think. This may have been a misstep from Cyrax. Yes, the Muta harassment probe was nice, but he really needed them to help defend this army. He's gonna lose a couple of hatcheries here. If he loses that natural hatchery, that's gonna be very painful. All those Mutas got very injured. They're very low now. I think he's done it. I think Sneasel managed to break through here.
Yeah, crazy. a few more Sunkens maybe, and Cyrix would be fine, and he did so much economic damage, but if you can't survive the counter attack, then all economic damage is not worth anything if you're dying, basically.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Like a couple moments ago, we were saying, you know, Cyrex looks in a very good position to take this game, but then a little misstep from him with the Mutalisk in the natural, and Protoss was able to run him over, break through the natural. Now he's losing a ton of drones. Even if he manages to kill this army, the damage has been done. Like you can see it reflected in the worker count here. He even gets the Spire, so no more Mutalisks are going to be able to be remade. And yeah, with the continued reinforcements coming in from Sneasel, I don't think Cyrix is going to be able to hold this. He's losing everything at his natural. He doesn't want to give up the fight just yet, knowing that he will be eliminated, but there it is. He does tap out. GG is called, and Sneasel takes it down and advances as our second player into the round of 16, so congrats to him.
Yeah, congratulations to Sneasel. And yeah, I mean, he also won 2 games against Cyrix, so he definitely proved to be the better player in this group on this day, and rightfully joins some other players in the round of 16. Okay, let's do a small look at the groups again. Do a little wrap up here. There we have it. So sadly we saw LancerX not showing up, and with that being eliminated from the tournament. And then we saw, of course, Sneasel winning his first match against Cyrex, and then losing to Deska. Deska advances in first place, and then Sneasel taking it in the decider match once again against Cyrex to advance in second place.
We got a comment that Liquipedia has been updated if you refresh the page.
As in every cast, very nice. Yeah, here we see it. Yeah, here you can see all the games again. LancerX, of course, if you see this W and the dash, that means there was no game and LancerX did not show up.
Yep. All right, so yeah. Congrats to Deska and Sneasel advancing from this group, and our players in the other group.
Yeah, let's take a look at that as well, just to wrap it up here for the stream. Here we saw Cruiser winning against Handy and Favorit to go out in first place of the group. And then Handy coming back from the losers match into the deciders match, and then taking it against Favorit there to advance in second place. So yeah, makes me glad that we have a Terran advancing. Terrans are always pretty rare in this tournament historically, so that's nice.
Yeah, looks like there's a Terran there in Group D as well. I know him; he's in my clan, so hopefully we get to cast that group. But we'll see. Definitely cheering for my boy Mars there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for our stream. There is going to be another cast on Thursday, and I think this season there's 3 casts for GosuLeague, so we won't necessarily be casting every Tuesday. There is going to be a little bit more of a mix-up between us, Veer, as well, and then G5 as a new caster for GosuLeague this season. So the 3 of us are going to be splitting up the casts a little bit more.
Yeah, I think I can also show the schedule here on stream. 1 second. Yeah, this should be good enough. So here we have it. This is the schedule for the GosuLeague. And yeah, so here, this is today. We saw Group C and E here. And on Thursday, we will see Group F and H casted by G5. And then in the next week, you will have Snipe and myself on Tuesday once again. And then Veer on Thursday for the remaining games of the round of 32. So that's the schedule. Of course, the later rounds can always change, but these next 2 weeks for the round of 32 should be pretty set. So those are the next streams that you can watch if you're interested in the BSL GosuLeague.
Yeah, so definitely tune into G5 stream. It'll be his debut BSL cast, so look forward to that. He is definitely a strong player. He was a coach in CPL as well. well-known, well-liked guy, very friendly, plays a good style. So I'm looking forward to seeing his cast, seeing how those games turn out. So definitely tune into his stream as well, and keep supporting BSL, um, Pro League, GosuLeague, HasaLeague, Choba League, all of it. Great community initiative, and premier tournament for foreign Brood War.
Yes, I've put some links in the chat as well. So we have Thursday's cast from G5 as a link in the chat. You can see G5's channel there for Thursday's cast, and then I also linked Veer's channel for next week's Thursday cast. So definitely follow those two channels as well for the full package of BSL GosuLeague action. And of course, if you want to support the Bombastic Star League, one of the best ways is to contribute to their Patreon. That's also linked in the chat right now. And that's pretty much all I think we have today. Do you have any last comments, Snipe?
Just thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the games as much as we did, and we'll see you all next week. And don't forget to tune into G5 on Thursday for more GosuLeague action.
Yep. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to follow some ladder streams for Protoss, also tune into my stream, of course. This week I don't have to work, so I'm streaming a lot of days in this week. And if not, of course, tune in on Thursday for G5 and then next week here on Tuesday again. So thanks again for watching and have a nice day. Bye bye.